Dude, I'm glad you're here.
No, man, what's up?
Thank you for coming.
I appreciate you.
I've been looking forward to this. Very, very talented artist, very funny comedian. I'm curious, how long have you been doing stand-up for?
I started stand-up when I was 20 years old, so I'm like 34 now, so like, 14
You're
years.
34?
Yeah, man.
Dude, I thought you were like late 20s.
Oh, man, I appreciate that.
Good
yeah,
for
man.
you.
See, I'm happy you said that because my gray hairs are starting to come into my beard and I'm all stressed out and shit. Like,
See,
yeah.
I started shaving the beard. I'm letting it grow now as I haven't had a show in a minute.
Yeah.
I think that Don't Tell was the last one that I did. And the more I grow my beard out now, the more I see my gray hairs. And I'm like, thank God I'm shaving it now for stand-up. This is getting, silver here, silver here.
See, but you're lucky because you got the full beard. Like, you can't, but I didn't even get a full beard. The grays started coming before the full beard even. So I feel like I got gypped. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't get the whole experience. I'm like, all right, word, this is how we're doing it? Cool.
One of the reasons I asked about how long you've been doing stand-up is because aside from how funny you are, a real strength that you have is I feel like with 90% of comics, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but with 90% of comics, when they get on stage, when they get in front of people, the audience will look at them, and most of the time, like I said, they're like, what's this guy about? Or what's she going to talk about? Or, that's interesting about their appearance or whatever. You get in front of people, and there's immediately this feeling of like, he's going to be funny.
I appreciate
You can kind of
that,
just
man.
tell. You're very chill. You're hyper relaxed on stage in front of people. Like, the best way I can kind of put it to people is like, I really like it when comedians, they make their set more of a conversation with the audience than it is like, okay, we're going to talk about this. Okay, now we're going to switch to this subject. Now we're going to go to, regardless of how good the transitions are, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you always been that comfortable doing stand-up?
Nah, man. So I appreciate you, man, because that's a lot. It's a lot of hard work, bro. Like,
I'm sure.
It's it's weird. It's like so Picasso, like, I don't know, I'm gonna fuck this quote up, but he was talking about how like it took him forever to learn how to like paint, paint this fine art and shit like that. And then when he got older, he was just like, and now it took me my whole life to learn how to paint like a kid. Is what it was, what the quote was, basically, like, where he learned all this fine art shit and then he just ended up painting like a kid and having fun.
Yeah.
And for me, it was the same of like, I love stand up so much. Like I can't even put it, like, half the time I don't even like talking to people like who aren't comics like about it. Like, it's like, you know, like when people go, oh, you just stand up and this, I don't even like, because I love it so much that it's
right.
like, I realize the further you go in it, the more you're just trying to look for yourself. And
That's so funny you say that. I was literally about to ask you that. Have you found, because I'm learning this myself. I'm very early on. Like, I'm a baby still. But I'm finding that it's like the trick, not trick, but the idea of getting better at stand-up is just figuring out how to naturally be yourself.
Yeah, it's the hard, because when you're on, so I guess when you're first starting, right, there's this pressure, you want to be funny. So everyone's like, oh, I got to be funny. I got to say something funny. So you think of the funny thing. You think of, oh, this is funny to say. I'm going to say this. This is funny to say. But the further you go on, like once you start to kind of put it together, you're like, instead of thinking of like, hey, what's funny? I'm going to say that. You think of, what do I want to say? And how do I make it funny? Does that make sense?
Say that one more time.
So a lot of new comics, like when you first start out, right, you're thinking of something funny to say, right? So you're like, hey, what's funny? Like, what's funny? What's this funny thing that's happening in the world? I want to say that, right? But then the more you get on it, it's like, what do I want to say? And how do I make it funny?
Right, finding the funny inside of your own natural, or your own unique thoughts.
You know, because that's all it is. Like, because going back to your original point of like when people see you on stage, they want to know, all right, who is this person? Like, what are they about? Like, and so that's what and plus I come from hip hop, you know what I mean? So like hip hop, it's like the first thing is like, who are you? Where are you from? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's just that's step one. Like, who are you? Where are you from? Like, you know, and then like, so when you're on stage, it's like, all right, who are you? Where are you from? What do you do? Like, what's going on here? Right. And then I realized like, the more you just are who you are, the harder it is to replicate, but then it's also like the easier it is for you to be who, like, to do the thing. Like,
Right.
you know, and that it still takes talent. Like, it's still like I've written jokes 100 times, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I've stayed up all night in diners writing the same joke over and over. Bro, I'm a maniac. I'll be pacing back and forth trying to get the other day I was doing this show. And like, so sometimes what I'll do is I'll write my set list down and I'll put it in my back pocket, but I won't look at it. But it's like, just like it makes me feel good to know it's there.
Improvised Intelligence is sponsored by the amazing people over at Chop Chili. If you've been a long time listener to the podcast, you know that this is my favorite brand of chili here in New Mexico. Pretty much put it on every meal that I can. They've got red chili, green chili. My personal favorite is this blend of the red and the green. I think this stuff is phenomenal. They also have frozen bags of green chili that you can order directly from their website at chopchilico.com. You can also find them in stores around the state of New Mexico at Sprouts, Albertsons, Farmers Country Market, John Brooks, Keller's Farm Store, Lowe's Market. And you can also find them in Albuquerque, Santa Fe, Hobbs, Gallup, Tucumcari. And for all my friends in Texas, they are in El Paso. Again, chopchilico.com. Go get yourself some amazing chili. Now back to the podcast.
You know? And then instead of writing the whole set out, I'll have like just words or just something that I can go off of. And I was on stage and I couldn't think of the word that I was like, well, what's the next thing? Because I like to play, but since I couldn't think of the word, I was like, well, fuck it, I guess I'm gonna have to just hang out, like you know, like, and like to be that comfortable. I guess that's the hardest part, is just to be comfortable being yourself, like when you're there. You know what I mean? Because shit's gonna happen. You're gonna fuck up. Even if you fuck up, if you tell the audience, this doesn't go well, they're with you. They want you to win. They came to laugh. They paid money. They want to feel the thing. You know, so just give them the thing. You know.
No, you're very right. And the idea, again, being naturally yourself on stage, figuring out how to be comfortable in public doing that. And even when you're telling jokes that maybe like, you know, they're funny in your head, but it's like, what? I don't know how to say this right because I'm trying to figure this out myself. But it's like, you know, this thing can be funny, but you haven't attached the right side of yourself to tell it yet, like the right delivery. You know what I'm saying? What I'll do is like when I'm writing new material, I'm like, oh, I feel like I've written something like this, or I've had an idea like this before, and I'll look back in older notebooks and find like maybe an older joke. Yeah. And I'll be able to put those puzzle pieces together, and now I maybe have the skills 2.5 years into it that I didn't have 6 months into it. It's like, oh, well, now I understand like what comes naturally to me, or like how my own natural timing is. And you can resurrect those old jokes, piece them together, and then move forward. And then, like you're saying about well, you maybe forget the thing, or even you just want to play with the audience a little bit. Because I don't know how because I do kind of the same thing. Like before I do a show, if I have enough time, which I normally do, I'll literally sit down and write out my whole act. Yeah. Just so I know, like, okay, well, I figure if I can write it down, I can certainly say it in public, right? I can certainly say it on stage. But then when I piece it together or I hit, like, the bullet points of it, that's how I outline. It's like, okay, well, this is my joke about, 51st in education. All right, this is my sex talk joke. This is my pedophile joke. This is about my blah, 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 blah. And then I'll keep those keywords that you're saying in my head as almost like a Google Maps to where I'm going. Yeah. But then if I want to take a side street, talk to this person over here, just as long as I can make my way back. Are you finding that's this kind of like the same way that you're describing, like how you at least organize it in your head?
Well, so it's that, but it's also like, be okay with getting lost, is what I'm saying. Like, it's like sometimes you're not gonna make it back, but like
yeah, that happens,
you know. And that's but okay, I will say this because I can't I will be like. So a lot of this, like, I didn't really figure it out until until I moved to New York, right? And in New York, like, it's combat. Like, everything is combat. Like, it's like that's one thing. You're not gonna make it in New York if you're not prepared for combat, right? Like,
describe that a little bit.
And what I mean is, like, you got to understand that everybody who moves there is moving there thinking that, oh, my dream is gonna work.
Yeah.
Oh, my dream is gonna. Oh, I'm the most special. Like, you see these. It's my favorite thing in the entire world is to see these like white girls that come from like these like. I'm telling you, they come from like these like rich like these Connecticut places or where they've been their special their whole life, and then they get here and they realize like, oh shit, I'm not shit. Like, you know what I mean? But like, I had to go through that, and shout out to Nico White. Andre Thompson, and like those two, right, are like there's so many people I could name, but those two were like instrumental in like, no, do that shit, but also like they're gonna let you know that fucking sucked. Like, oh no, that you could have did this. Oh no, you could have did that. And like the whole, like there's homies, like you like there's a whole crew of just be like who are about, and that's what I mean by combat. Like if you're gonna do, like when you go out, whatever it is you say you do, that's what you do. If you say you're a comic, prove to me that you're a comic, because we do this here. You know what I mean? If you're a boxer, prove to me you're a boxer. We do this here.
There's a lot of people, especially today. There's with like social media as prevalent as it is, and everyone wants to show off the best parts of their lives, and everyone wants, at least in their brain, they want to be not even the thing, but maybe the idea of the thing that they have in their head. People get really comfortable saying, "Yeah, oh yeah, I'm this. Oh yeah, I've done that, or I've been here." It's like, well, okay. Let's see.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's like, oh, you say you're about it? Cool. Well, now you get to show me, like, so, and I bring them up because there was one incident. We were doing a show, somewhere Pennsylvania, something like Altoona, some weird ass place in Pennsylvania, right? And I was opening for Nico, right? And I bet him that I would have a better set than him because we were competitive, right? And it's like, all right, bro. And he's about that shit too. He's like, shit. All right, like, you know. So, and my aunt had just died like a week before, right? And it was like hitting me, like, you know what I mean? I'm far from home. I'm chasing this shit. My aunt just passed away, like, you know. So I go on stage and I have to do 30 minutes, right? I go on stage and I bomb the whole 30 minutes. Just ate it. Just ate the whole 30 minutes, and he's in the back watching, just like, and like that's the thing, like when you're like your homies will let you know, and he was the type, he's not gonna know, you're gonna know about it. I had to, so not only did I bomb, I also lost my set money, because that was what I bet the set money, so it was basically like I went out there for free, right? But then also, like, I had to hear about it the whole car ride back. But that was one of my favorite sets because it taught me something. It taught me, like, oh, yeah, you can do the jokes, right? But if your heart isn't feeling jokes, if your heart wants to talk about this thing, then you're going to have to figure out a way to not make it so fucking depressing for these people. You know what I mean? You're going to have to figure out a way to make it, because I'm not the only person in the world whose aunt ever passed away or whose family ever passed away.
Well, and the audiences know that either.
And they don't, they didn't come for any, they don't give a fuck. Like,
you're the entertainment.
Yeah.
Entertain.
Yeah. Tell me something funny. You know what I mean? And I'm over here trying to fucking go on my soapbox and shit like that. Oh, woe is me. You know? And that's when it was at that moment, like that moment hit me where it was like, there's a difference between, that was the first moment I realized, like, oh, there's a difference between being a real comic and then just being like, oh yeah, no, I'm a comedian, I tell it. And the difference is like one of these motherfuckers is down to die about that shit. You know what I mean? And like when you put it to that level, everything else is easy.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, especially what we were talking about with going to New York and seeing everybody out there who thinks they're the shit, or maybe that's the scary part too. Not for you as the outlooker, but for them as the actual person, is maybe they are the shit, and wherever they come from in some small or mid-level city, maybe they are the shit. And then they go to this comedy metropolis like LA, New York, now Austin. And they go out there and they see everyone else that thinks they're the shit too. And it becomes like, I saw that the first time I went to Austin last year. I went out there. I was like, oh, well, I'm going to go see what Austin is like. I'm going to meet a couple people out there, see what it's like. And I had a damn good time. I had a great time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the sign up, just alone, the sign up for the Mothership's open mic.
Well,
like 300 people that all think that they're the shit, and they all want to get in there and show what they've got. And I was like, oh, okay, so there's 300 people in line right now. At least 250 of these people have enough delusion that they really think they're the next Shane Gillis or they're the next whoever. And it's like, oh, fuck.
But I'll tell you right now, bro, like, I don't even know how to say this nicely. So I'm going to, like, I feel like that whole, I think I already said, like, I might have tweeted some, not tweet. What's that new thing? The threads? I don't do threads a lot.
I don't use threads either. Yeah.
Okay, so basically the whole what I was getting at, though, is like a lot of people from LA moved to Texas when they found out you could be racist there.
I don't think it's that.
Bro, you got to understand, man. So, like, a lot of a lot of these people, man, when they go, oh wow, you can just because think about it, it's Texas. You know, Texas, we're right next door. So you get to shoot guns, you get to talk shit, you get to be what. California does not know that. You know what I mean? So, and you got to understand the thing that Joe Rogan created, like, for better or for worse, like, as far as his business model goes, it's fucking genius. You know what I mean? Like, because he's on podcasts, what, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, who knows? He was doing this shit back when people weren't doing this shit. Right. So he built something from it. And then the UFC blew up, and he was already in there. He was in there when the UFC wasn't in there. So his shit around it blew up. I will be goddamned if Joe Rogan tells me anything about how to do comedy. But when it comes to how to business wise, he's fucking in there, and he takes care of his people. He puts them all on, right? So now he goes, fuck California. I'm moving to Texas. I don't even think he realized the type of pull he has over people. So
I think he did, but I brought up Austin as an example just because there's so many people there that move there.
Oh yeah,
with the idea that they're gonna go out there and make it.
Yeah,
that's
you're
why
right.
I bring
My
it
bad.
up.
I'm all getting on a tangent.
No,
you're good.
You're good. Because I mean, there is like in talking with friends that I've made of various degrees out in that city. I mean, there is certainly people that I don't think it's a large swath, but I think there is a good amount of people that go out there think that they can just go out there, be the shock jock comic, be like basically what Howard Stern was in the 90s, be the shock jock, say the wildest thing possible, and then, they're going to be a huge comic out there. When people, just the read that I get is the real, like you're talking about the real comedians that are out there, they're over that shit. They're like, no, we're here to do stand-up. We're not here just to go up here and say retard and faggot or whatever. No, that doesn't make you funny. Just because you want to get up there and say a bunch of wild and crazy words.
You're not wrong, but there's ways to make that shit funny.
Oh,
you know
there is. For sure, there is. Oh, for 110%.
Yeah.
But people just go up there and say, I was hanging out with these retards yesterday.
Yeah, and you're like...
And then, all right, well, okay, you're clearly... Okay, we've seen who you are. We know what you are.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So I guess that's what I was getting at, and then I went off on this tangent, was like, so you'll see these 300 people in this mic, right? But like, and this is what I'm learning from like owning my own business, right? Is like, I learned this, 5% of the world actually wants to be a leader, actually wants to own something. Everybody else is a worker bee. Everybody else.
For sure.
So when you see the 300 names on that mic, there might be one or two of those people who really want it. But that's the thing. They're going to sign their name on that mic maybe once, maybe twice, right? Some of them will stay there until they get it, until they get that spot, Other people might be like, might see the game and be like, this is bullshit. I'm going to go start my own lane. And they're going to, but the majority of them are delusional enough to think that 5 minutes is all they're going to need to, I just need this 5 minutes, so I'm going to get on. Not knowing, all right, but if that's all you got is that 5 minutes, then once you even walk through that door, if you don't have anything else to bet, you're going to fucking get kicked the fuck out.
And that's provided that even works in the first place.
Provided it even works in the first place. But if you, but that's the thing, if you're really, and this is what I mean about real comics, is like, I don't mean real comics in the sense of like, oh, you've been doing it for this, like you're a war vet, you're whatever. No, I mean real as in you have it in you to where no matter what anybody says, you're not going to stop. They can't stop you. That's the thing. Like, I wish people knew, like, it's hard now, like, hearing people go, yeah, man, you're really funny. Or like, yeah, man, you're awesome. Like, it's hard hearing that because when I first started here, people didn't like me here, bro. People were like, and then I realized how a lot of it wasn't necessarily that I wasn't good. It was that I was like intimidating and not like I'm a cocky kid from like the fucking group home. I already know you don't like me. So that's my whole mindset when I do comedy is I know you don't like me and I don't trust people. So if I know you don't like me and I don't trust you, then what I'm going to say, you're not supposed to like it. So if you laugh at it, I know it's a good joke. I know I did my job because none of this is supposed to work, but it's working. So I'm doing it. And I always had that. So when like, and you know how Albuquerque is really just, it's a small town. Like so a lot of times people might not even know you and they just don't like you. They just don't like you because it's Tuesday, they woke up and they just don't like you, right? So then you know what I mean? Like they just don't. They're just mad. Like that's just what it is here, man. Like
there is I wouldn't even say simmering, but there is a undercurrent of, I wouldn't even say it's the fact they don't like each other. I just think it's like it's apathy maybe, because there's just so many things not going that great in Albuquerque that people are just like, all right, whatever. Yeah. Another thing.
Yeah, right.
Another guy.
Yeah.
Another gal. All right, whatever, man.
And this fucking guy thinks he's special and shit like that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, that kind of mentality breeds. It's like, I think Albuquerque has some of the most amazing people, but the thing about it is the city also kills those people because they don't know how amazing they are because of the glass ceiling here. Because like you say, there's not a whole lot of things going great in Albuquerque. So you can see these super talented people that don't know they're super talented because they don't step outside of the sphere and like just go places and try shit and take, you know what I mean? And so like, and I was lucky enough to go to a place, try some shit and go, oh wait, I have something here. Just keep going, right? But then also like, I came from somewhere else with I got nothing to lose. I'm not fucking going home empty-handed. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I'm going to figure this shit out. And that's the difference between the real ones and anything versus the real ones are going to do the thing, whatever it takes to get there, they're going to get there. Now, if they get there and find out that's not some shit that they wanted anyway, then they'll just figure it out after that. But they're still going to get there. Look at your setup. It's beautiful, man, because you're like, I'm going to get there. So you already have, that's the thing, you already have your mothership. You might not realize it's the mothership yet. You already have your version of your mothership. You know what I mean? You just keep building. Whereas some kids think, oh, I'm going to get into their, it's okay. So you know you own, let's say you start a business, right? And this business starts on let's say you have an action figure business, okay? And you started right here on your desk painting action figures, right? And you start selling these action figures. Then all of a sudden you get enough to where you can hire some staff. Now your staff is selling action figures. Then you get enough to where you can buy a building. Now you got a store where you sell action figures, comic book shop, whatever, right? Then all of a sudden you start to franchise out. Now all of a sudden all these franchises are out here. The people who work at these, oh, one day I'm going to be the owner of this. No, the fuck, you're not, because you didn't build it. You built it.
Right.
But the kids inside of your building that you're paying, they're like, oh, I'm going to have this. You can't have this because this is mine. You have to go make yours. And so that's what I'm getting at with the mothership. The mothership, they're trying to get into it, but it's like, yeah, you can get in, and then what? You still got to go build yours.
Yeah, well, it's building a career. I mean, I see what you're saying, for sure. I see what you're saying. But on the flip side of that, if you're building a business that way, eventually the owner, the CEO, whoever, that person is going to retire. And I think the mark of a good leader is being able to train people below you to be able to take your spot and continue what's going on.
Okay. And
on the flip side of that.
Yeah, on the flip side of that, but let's say you have a child, right? You have a son, you have a daughter. You're not going to teach your son or your daughter how to do what you do. So if that's the heir to the throne, you can't be the heir if this is my heir.
I see what you're saying.
You see what I mean? So like, and I guess that's what I'm getting at with the model of the worker bees and all that. I swear I'm trying to say it in a way to where I don't come off like being a dick, but like because it's also like you got to take your lumps. You know what I mean? Like, but like eventually you're going to get to a spot where you're either going to have to do it yourself or you're going to have to jump into somebody else's car. And whatever car you jump into, you don't get to pick the music. You don't get to pick the destination. Wherever they're going, you're going. Versus you could just save your money and buy your own car. Does anybody tell you what to do on this podcast? Anyone tell you what to say, how to say it, when to start it?
That's why, like, for instance, it's a small example, but there's a really great public access studio downtown, Studio 519. I have a couple buddies that go do podcasts down there. That's where they host their stuff. And this is a great place. You should come check it out. And you can do your show here. They have all these great cameras and lights and that. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll go check it out. And when I did their show a few times, I was like, yeah, no, this is a good place, but
it ain't yours.
I can't get hammered here.
Yeah, you know, you're right. Can't get hammered.
I can't get hammered here. If I do get hammered, I have to drive. That's not good. If I get hammered in my own home studio, I go to my bedroom.
Yep.
And it's cracked the fuck out. I start, like you just say, I start my show when I want. I end it when I want. I talk about what I want. I mean, that's why I love the sponsor that I have, is because they've never curtailed me. They've never said, oh, you can't talk about this, or you can't have this person, or you can't blah, 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 blah.
That's what's up.
Yeah, so it's definitely it's a longer journey that way, which is fine. I'm cool with that. Never got into this for the money anyway, that's for sure. But I think you're spot on. Like, building your own thing and being able to drive your own car is the better way to go if you have that ability to. But it is not also necessarily a negative thing, because I don't think anybody gets to the top without a lot of help.
Oh, no.
You know what I mean? But having your own, because what you're describing is a platform. having your own platform to rely on and build independently of others is very important. And if you can't have it, you should. 110%.
Oh yeah, no, it's you gotta have honestly the best. So I learned this in art, in like the art business, because like I'm also an artist. So like the other side of it, like I went to this gallery and he was telling me, he goes, there's two types of artists. There's the ones who get like the commercial art, so like they're the ones who do the billboards, like because everything is art. Right, so you do like the Target ads and like the visual arts and all that. So you could do the commercial route, or you could do the grant route, like where you like you're good enough to where you can go, you apply for grants, they give you money to just be an artist. And he goes, but then there's a third type that's very rare, where and it's the people who can do both. And I say that to say like if you apply it to comedy, there's people who can go out and they do the commercials and shit like that because that pays the bills, but then they go and they put their own specials out and it's fucking killer. You know what I mean? They get the gigs because the gigs are what's going to pay the money. And then they go, but to be that level of talented, to be that level of in tune, like it takes a special person because you got to answer the phone. You got to show up. And I don't like people talking to me like that. Like I really, like, stop bothering me. I'm busy. Like, you know what I mean? And not like I'm not even trying to be. It's just like there's so much. You're like when you get to be an adult, there's so much that you have to do already. Yeah. To where it's like to add this extra thing, and it's just like noise. It's just like go away. I'll figure it out. Like and I'll figure it out. Like I guess the point I'm getting at, man, is like as long as you know whatever success looks like to you, then you're gonna win.
What does success look like to you?
Success, to me, man, honestly, it's when I can wake up in the morning, right? And I don't have to answer to anybody. And I can just do what I want to do, how I want to do it. And in the machine, and I can plug it into the machine that I built, and that's the next thing. So I mean that sounds stupid. So let me give you like a clear example of what I'm talking about. Like, so because I kind of do it now. Like I get to wake up, right? I'll wake up and like whatever project I'm working on, that's the project I'm working on, right? So if but like right now I'm working on a comic book. I'll show you some pages like when we're done with this. But like, so if I could wake up in the morning and I can do an art piece, but then I can plug that art piece into my business. Like, hey, this is the new piece I have out, and then that sustains to where I can make more art. That's success. I did it. I'm an artist. I can do whatever I want. Like, you know what I mean? If I can go somewhere and be like Chappelle, okay, perfect example. Chappelle was on like some motorcycle journey or whatever, and he goes, yeah, I just stop when I need to and go do a show. That level, that's success. You made it, man. Good for you. For me, it's like, yeah, I'll wake up, I do what I want. I want to go do a show, I go do a show. I want to go do this, I go do that. And I've always kind of done what I wanted anyway. So basically, I guess success for me is not having to compromise who I am already. Like, yeah, and making it to the finish line, wherever the finish line, because like we're all gonna die. That's the finish line. You know what I mean? So that's like
that'd be the ultimate finish line. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, that's really all it is. There's only one joke. There's only one joke, and that's the joke. We're all gonna die, and the punchline is the life you live. And so when you're on stage, you're just talking about the life you're living. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so for me, it's like I've already lived a life that, like, when I say it out loud, it sounds crazy. But I'm like, oh shit, that's the life I've lived, and I'm doing it. So like, once I get to the end, and I can go, yeah, I fucking did it.
Did music start for you first, or did comedy start for you first?
Oh, so yeah, no, so because of the hip hop thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I say hip hop, I'm so happy you asked, man. No, hip hop is it's way more than music, man. It's way more than music, which is why it's kind of important that we kind of it's in everything now. But yeah, hip hop started way before, because my older brother is a rapper. Like, so he's like rapper, MC. He's like a super dope MC, and he's also a a graffiti writer. And I used to look up to him, and I'd be like, I'd want to draw all the time. Like he would write, and always be writing rhymes and shit like that. So I would always be doing that. So in my head, this is life. You know what I mean? For me, I didn't know that was like a hobby. It was like, no, so this is what we do, right? And then hip hop, like, there's 4 elements of it, right? So there's DJing, there's MCing, there's breaking, and there's graph, you know? And so like all those elements combined, those are really just like the 4 elements of life. Like it's our version of Avatar is really what it is. You know what I mean? Like it's earth, wind, fire. Right, like it's that for us. So So for me, when I say hip hop, like I'm a b-boy, bro. Like when I was in a group home, I taught myself how to break. And then when we got out, like I just found other b-boys around the city, man, and we'd break in the city, you know, like so.
Where did you grow up?
So I grew up here, and then in Albuquerque, and then I got sent to a group home, and I might have gotten in some trouble, and then ended up in Berlin. Like I went to the Boys Ranch, which is a little outside of.
Okay.
Yeah, it's outside of Berlin, so it's in between Berlin and Socorro. It's like I don't know if you ever heard of Vegeta. But
Nah.
yeah, it's basically the middle of nowhere. It's like, so you know, like holes. It's like like when you're driving and you see everything around it, it feels like holes. But you actually get there, it's like a farm compound thing where it's just a bunch of boys that like couldn't like do well in like society, and people are just like, well, fuck these kids, and then the ranch was like, no, they'll be all right. Like we'll take care of them, like, you know. And so like we had like this place where we could just be boys, like, you know. So like I learned life there, which is.
How old were you at the time?
So when I got there, I was 15. I remember my mom came in one day and she was just like, "Hey, put your shit in a bag." And so I put my stuff in like a trash bag, and then we just showed up to this place. And like my brother was already there, but I thought we were going to like visit him. And she cut my hair, and she's like, "All right, well, see you later." And then like I remember that being like the last day I like felt like a kid. You know what I mean? Like I don't. Like when I think about being a kid, that's like the last memory I have. I know. I'm sorry. When I talk, I go everywhere.
No, yeah, you're good.
Bro.
Yeah,
like,
no, you're good.
So if you ever want to just be like, hey, but what was that one thing?
No, this is great. Keep going. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get there at 15.
Yeah.
How many other kids your age are there?
So when there, because it's like a high school, like, so it's between like I think 8th grade and like seniors in high school, and there's only like I want to say there's 4 cottages, so there's about 40 of us, a little less than 40 of us, bro. Like the first week I was there, this kid was about to get kicked out, and so that was the thing. That was like where we were at was like the middle ground between like, all right, you're going to juvie, or you're going to jail, or because you're not going back to the regular world. Like this is it, bro. Like in the week we were there, the first week I was there, this kid, he was about to get sent like to the loony bin, right? Because he was like he would like write he would listen to Bone Thugs and Harmony all the time, bro. Like that was his shit. He would listen to Bone Thugs and Harmony, but he would write shit on the wall with his blood. Like that was like he found out that they were gonna give, and he was like, no, fuck that. So then he fucking like he steals the car. Like he steals the car off the thing, and then he goes on a police chase, and he like crashes into the fucking like the local like grocery store like in town. And that was like my first week there, and I'm like, so this is the type of party we're gonna have here.
Oh shit.
Okay, cool. You know, so like, and that's what I mean about being who you are. Like there's only 40 kids that have my story. You know what I mean? There's only the people who were there, the people who actually cared, who are like, no, these kids are good kids, let's give them a shot. The brothers that I have now, are the brothers I had then, because it's like when you fight somebody there, yeah, you might win, you might lose, but then you're gonna fucking have to go wash yourself off and eat dinner right next to this dude.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're gonna have to go fucking muck the stalls right next to this dude. So you learn how to not be an asshole. You know what I mean? You learn like, okay.
You learn social cues real quick.
Yeah, but we also learn like you learn real fast when you see all the people who are like, we're gonna save these kids, and then they show up and see what it is, and then they don't make it very long. We also see that too. So it's like, oh yeah, this guy's full of shit, or this guy. So it gave us a skewed outlook on the world. So we like, that's what I mean when I say like the last time I felt like a kid, because all the stuff that people are going through now, it's like, oh shit, we saw that when I was 15.
Was there, when you get there, is there a certain amount of time that you're given that you're going to be there, or is it until they feel like you've completed their program, or they can like check the boxes saying, hey, he doesn't need to be here anymore, he can go live with his family again, or he can go back into society? Like, is there a specific outline for you there when you get there? So
that was between the family. Like, so if the family goes like, oh, okay, cool, like, yeah, this worked, or this isn't working for my kid, I'm gonna take him out. Then my mom was like, nah, y'all are this is where y'all are going, y'all are gonna figure it out here. You know what I mean? And so I just did the whole thing until the end of high school, man. And then after high school, I just moved in with one of my brothers who graduated the year before, and he made it out, and he's in the city going to UNM, and so we just lived with him.
Who, I guess what I'm asking you too is like, who, when that time, so you were there for about 3 years then, if you were 15?
Yeah, about three and a half, because I went to Cibola, got kicked out of Cibola, then I went to like this charter school, got kicked out of the charter school, and then my freshman year, that semester, like the half of the semester, the first half, and then the second half I was there.
Okay, so who at the end of your time there, who basically granted you release to go, or did you leave on your own volition?
Oh, we graduated.
You graduated out. Okay, so there's schooling going on there, and there's
yeah. That's the thing. It was a whole thing. Like you wake up, you go to the gym, which was our school. Like it was also like the gym, the schoolhouse, and there was like 2 classrooms, and then there was like a basketball court, and then on the other side there was like a little like science lab. It was like 3 rooms, bro. And that was our class. That was our school. And it was really just us sitting around, fucking around, and then but we had a couple cool teachers. But that's the thing, man. Like the type of person you have to be to teach a bunch of maniac boys, like you also kind of have to be a maniac. So our teachers were kind of crazy. So they would also just like they would teach us shit that we weren't supposed to know. Like we didn't like the history book that we had. Like we had a social like a history teacher named Rock, right? And he was also he was also an artist, but he was like he's still around. Like shout out to Rock, but like he was what's the word? Like, radical. He's like a radical dude.
Yeah, the Alex Jones enthusiast for your history. All right, here's what really happened.
Oh, bro, yeah, we didn't read history. We read the People's History of the United States by Howard Zinn. That was our history book. So we got the Native American. So we learned about like the Iroquois Confederacy and shit like that before we actually learned about like what was good, like the shit that they teach in regular school. Which I realize now they don't really teach shit in regular school because it's like it's New Mexico, so nobody knows.
Yeah.
And that's the fucked up part, bro, because, like, think about it. So the school system's fucked up, right? So nobody's learning anything. So now everybody's dumb. But then eventually these kids grow older. So now they're just dumb older people. But then these dumb older people get jobs in the city, get jobs in offices, get jobs. So now all these people who didn't know shit in the first place are the ones making the rules. And so when you go, hey, why are you doing that? Because fuck you. That's why. Because who's going to stop me? Because all of my homies are also here. And so we're all dumb together. So we're just going to do dumb shit.
Well, and then you look at our university system and the number one job field that people, with the exception of STEM, but even there's a large swath of people that leave like the STEM programs. But the number one job field that people go into post-university is the university system. They go back to the universities either in administration or they teach. So they're teaching the same classes they just graduated from with no real world experience, no real world application. And then you go to the origin of where we took our school system from, and we took it from the Germans. And the Germans had implemented it, again, you're talking about worker bees in the beginning. They implemented their system to create workers for their society, which, I mean, I get it. You kind of need that. But it's systematic with a huge negative tilt. Whereas like they get taught the bare minimum, if that. And really all it is, it's not a teaching to comprehend and understand. It's a teaching to retort. Say the thing that I said, or say the thing that you learned at the right times, you get the right grade to get out of here. Yep. That's all it really is. There's not a lot of comprehension. There's not a lot of understanding. And now we are where we are.
Yeah, but then you look at the flip side of it, right? You have the nerds and shit, like the ones who get the straight A's and shit like that. But they're so used to getting that like positive feedback that, oh, I got an A, so when they get out into the real world, we don't give a fuck about your grades. This is how we do this here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and right. So that's why they want to go. That's why they want to go back to school, because school is like that safety net. You know, that safety net of, oh, I did a good job. I want a high five. You know, like when you're a kid and somebody goes, do your thing. You can do it, right? And everyone's cheering you on. But when you're an adult and you did it, no one's there to say, hey, congratulations anymore. But in college, you get that. In school, you get that, those A's, that gratification, that validation, you know? So that's why a lot of the nerds, like, they go into politics and stuff like that, because it's still that kind of system.
Right.
Like, I think a way we could fix that, an easy way to fix it too, right, is the same, that Harry Potter shit, how they have the sorting hat. You know what I mean? Like, where they put the hat on you, all right, it's the same. You can tell the kid that's not going to college. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can tell right away. You can see the kids from a mile away, the antsy ones, the artistic ones, or whatever. You can put them, like, all you have to do is take a second to actually care about the kids in your class, and you'll see, all right, this kid learns this way, this kid learns this way, and you separate it that way. So then all of a sudden now, all right, if this kid's not going to learn academically, he could learn with his hand. Maybe he learns with his hands. Maybe he learns auditory. Maybe he likes motorcycles. Maybe he likes bikes. You teach him how to do small little things. Then he gets a trade, a mechanic. Everybody drives a car.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Is you have the kid that's failing maybe out of English or out of history. It seems like they're detached from school, but you ask them about how to fix a 69 Mustang.
He's got
and they go off on it.
And now you have a pipeline to where it's like, all right, now we have plumbers, now we have mechanics, now we have electricians, because we got to have lights, we got to have roads. You know what I mean? People take shits all the time. All these things, like
I do adore my indoor plumbing.
You see what I'm saying? So like all of these things that aren't glorified job, but when you tell a kid, oh, you got to be smart, you got to go to college because college is the only out, right? But then all these kids who go to college, and then they're like, well, what the fuck? Where's my job? And
especially today.
And now they don't have a job. They're just in debt. And then so they went to college, they got fucked. The ones who didn't go to college, they got fucked. So now everybody's fucked. Now they're mad. Now they're just yelling at each other. And then the whole
over social issues of all things.
And then the system wins because if the system, you know what I mean? Yeah. If the system can keep you confused, the system's gonna pimp all of you. And then who gives a fuck at that point?
I wish. I'm not. I mean, I don't
care. So you could speak. Like
I'm just trying to form my thought process. Like, I never had a natural inclination towards trades, but I never understood why trade schools. I mean, you understand it when you look at it from the perspective of the system itself. The university system wants to make money, and when they're giving out loans that are backed up truly by the government, and you can never get out of them through bankruptcy, the interest rates only climb. So they're safe loans from the people that are giving out the loans. Of course, they want more people taking those loans to get in perpetual debt. It's obvious why trade schools and going through apprenticeships aren't advertised as much, but you would think that there would at least be more people, at least they're starting to now, just only through social media. But like growing up, I never had somebody in a middle school or even the high school that I went to that were like, hey, yeah, you can go to college if you want, but you can also go learn how to be a plumber, electrician, mechanic, whatever. And not even if you get into the top 10 percentile, if you get in the top 50 percentile at this job, if you're just proficient at it, or even just contracting, like construction work, and you know what you're doing, and you get an apprenticeship, you get into a union, or you get into a good company, you can make well north of 60, 70, 80. You can make six figures doing these kind of jobs that are essential jobs. They're never going to go away. They're going to be among the last that are taken by, they didn't know about AI back then or knew about the real threat of AI. But especially today, these are the last jobs that are going to get taken by AI. And you can go make a ton of money. You can go work. You can make enough money in your initial job where you can go own your own business, open your own electrician, plumbing, mechanic company. Then you hire your own employees, and you just continue the cycle.
And that's how it should be. But if you think about it, right? If you gave everybody that power, then what would be the point of the system?
Right.
And you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like
that's why it's not there. Yeah.
You can't break the system. Like, we don't go against it. We don't go against the Matrix. Now you gotta, like it's the funniest thing, man, to see because it's like the answers are so simple, but yet it seems like they're so hard to get to. And like then when you take a step back and you just look at the board and you realize, like, I honestly think we are where we are now because when COVID hit, everybody kind of has that fuck it attitude now. Like, fuck it, I don't care. Let's watch the world burn. And they don't really understand, this world isn't for you anymore. What about the kids, man? Like, what about your kids, man? Right. What about the kids? But it's like, so there's like this real selfish kind of I don't give a fuck. And because of that, now we're in this thing, and again the house wins. When everybody else loses, the house wins. You can't, you know what I mean? Like,
the house of cards is falling apart right now. It's falling apart very rapidly.
It's been falling apart for a long time, bro. The dude, Killer Mike said it best. This country getting ran by a casino owner. Like, what'd you think was gonna happen? And then all of a sudden, you find videos of the dude like, I would run Republican because they're all that's okay. You want to get to it? We can get to it.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Comedy and politics. The reason why a lot of the times politicians and comedians don't get along is because we're using the same magic. but we're using it for two different things. Because when you're really doing it, when you really can speak to that's why musicians are untouched. Rock stars and the rock stars live forever. Why? Because their songs are vibrations that hit certain nerves in your body that can take you back to high school, that can take you, it's magic. It's a spell.
It's hypnosis.
Yeah, so so what we use our magic for is to poke fun at is to poke fun at it. What the politicians use their magic for is to control it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
No, you're completely.
So we're trying to set you free while they're trying to control it. So then now whose words are going to win? And if one side has all the guns and has all the power over if you live or die versus the other side just has their notebook and a microphone, it's not a very fair fight, right? So this whole drum shit, like it would seem shocking if you didn't take into account how stupid people actually are. And I say that with it's Men in Black when he goes, no, a person is smart, but people are dumb, stupid, and scared. And you know it because because when people, like, if you know, right, if it's just you and you know you're going the wrong direction, you're like, oh, let's just turn around. But if it's a group of people and you start to go the wrong direction, and it's like, well, maybe let's just see. Then all of a sudden you start to rationalize. Then all of a sudden that stupid idea starts to sound like a good idea. Then all of a sudden that joke starts to become fact. You know, like
right.
You know, like,
well, there's a really good book. It's called It's called I've read bits and pieces of it. Like, not read. I've listened to it. It's called. I think it's called It's not A Few Good Men. It's
you can't handle the truth.
I forget what the fuck it's called, but it's a book that was written like 20 years ago, and it's about the rise of the Third Reich, and because obviously there's a lot of people like to ask the question like why didn't anybody say anything when the Third Reich was rising, or like why wouldn't anyone speak about the Holocaust, anything like that? And basically what the book is arguing, it shows the history of the rise, and what it argues is that it was basically like. The argument of the book is it's men that were following orders, and that's what a lot of that was. And they were and obviously the historical pretense of like the end of the First World War, where Germany was at the time, blah blah blah. But it's the argument like there wasn't there were very evil people in charge, obviously, but the cogs of the machine, the makeup of what became the Third Reich was a lot of people thinking they were doing the right thing for their country. And they were following orders from people above them, and then it led to the atrocities that happened at that time in the 40s and the 50s.
I.e. patriotism.
Right. Well, I think patriotism is a good thing, because I think you should be proud of the country you live in. But when patriotism and really nationalism is pointed in the wrong direction, you can have horrible things come up.
But that's what I'm talking about how like it's like when somebody's favorite football team, for example, like if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan or whatever, right? Like if you're a Dallas Cowboys fan, you hate the Giants. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even if somebody from the Giants starts playing for the Cowboys, and all of a sudden you're rooting for that guy.
Right. As long as you're on my team.
As long as you're on my team, but when you're on that team, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, and it's the same, and it's like, but what do you do? But that right there, they use that model for everything.
Right.
They use that model because they know it works. They know it works. They don't know it works. Hey, somebody just fucking attacked the U.S. Who did? They did. Let's go get them.
They have weapons of mass destruction.
They have weapons of mass destruction. Did we ever find them?
Freedom.
No, we don't. Yeah, you have freedom and they don't. These motherfuckers are throwing rocks at tanks. What are you talking about?
Well, and that is one of the things that is in my opinion at least, is a huge positive about, because I think if a time traveler went back 20 years and told the real people that run the government, not the president, not the Congress people, like the actual people that run the government,
the lizard people,
like the deep state, right? Yeah. The lizard people, yeah. If they were to go back in time and tell this group of people or this apparatus, sent out a mass email on their BlackBerries and told them all, hey, listen, there's this thing that's going to start up in about 8 years. It's called social media. And what's going to happen is it's going to connect all people from all around the world. And what's going to happen is these social media platforms, they have a thing called an algorithm. And the algorithm is going to show them videos of things that maybe they don't want to see, but it's going to incite rage. And it's going to show them everything from riots to war crimes to illegal immigration and detainments. It's going to show them all these things. And it's going to direct all their hatred at each other. But eventually, I think we're experiencing this now, eventually, all their anger is going to go towards you guys. So do with that information as you will. They would stop social media immediately. And my point in bringing all this up is you're completely right. Primarily the political parties, that's one part of the huge equation that's destroying this country right now. But with what we're seeing right now with the Epstein files, it's like you see all these people that are like in government right now that are like, well, the problem with some of these Epstein files is that they're going to implicate a lot of people. And they use bullshit excuses like a fucking national security concern or whatever. But saying, oh, it's going to implicate a lot of people. A lot of people in power are going to get in trouble and blah, blah, blah. And large swaths of the country that's growing day by day are like, okay, let's see what happens. Let's see who's in trouble. Let's see who's implicated in these files. Let's see who's from the spectrum of embarrassed that they're affiliated to getting perp walked and handcuffs. Let's see who's involved. No, let it burn. No, let's see who gets in trouble. Because and my point of bringing all that is I just think there's more and more people that are abandoning their political parties and kind of moving more towards the middle. There are staunch beliefs on both sides that they're probably never going to give up, right? Very, very staunch liberal concerns and liberal small L that they're never going to give up, and then staunch conservative concerns and beliefs that they're never going to give up. But as far as how the show is ran and who we put in charge, more and more of those people are coming to a consensus of like, can we not have pedophiles? Let's start there. Let's start with the pedophile thing, and let's go to the war crime thing. Like, can we do without that?
Yeah, you gotta understand, man. Like, I realize, like, and I hate that this was, how do I say it? This country is horny and angry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, you gotta understand that, like, in the back of it, most people, and especially in America, with true crime and all that shit, we fucking love that shit. So, like, everybody wants to get away with murder. So when they get to see the person who is actively getting away with all of that shit, there's a part of them that's just like part of half of these people want to be like, hey, keep going, and then the other half is like, are you guys fucking what?
Do you think that's what it is? Because
think about it like this, bro. If Obama, if Obama, if they even caught whiff that he was on some weird sex island, right? If they even caught whiff that he started with the tax fraud and all of this other shit, do you really think it would have taken him? Dude got impeached the first time, and then tried to burn the country down. You know what I told my homie that's like, yo, man, your homie got impeached, right? And he tried to burn the country down. He said, you know what, Mike? Sometimes you got to burn it down to build it up. Point.
Well, that's a silly argument.
It's a silly. What's
your point with Obama? I guess
my point with Obama is that certain people have to hold certain standards to be seen as a certain way, whereas when it comes to white men in power, as far as evil goes, like in American society, and not even American society, in the world, as far as like how we see the bad guy everywhere, the bad guy in most movies, the bad guy around the world, the bad guy anywhere is the rich white man. The rich white man sitting at the top of whatever throne he is, right?
Right.
So now we've had so much anger towards this rich white person. We forget that, yeah, there's also other white people who are just hanging out, who are just around. But now they're angry because we're angry at them. So they wake up, they're the bad guy. Everywhere they go, fuck you, fuck you. Fucking when Obama was in office, he was the cool, sly president. You know, he was getting shit done, but he was smoking people with fucking drones. Like,
I was about to say, he got unfairly attacked for the color of his skin for sure, but he obviously got fairly dragged through the mud over his droning campaign.
But was he molesting women?
Right.
Was he hiding his taxes?
Well, I hope not.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Was he obviously a criminal? That's what I'm trying to say. Trump is everything that people think black people are. But because he's a white dude and he can get away with it, and we're watching with our own eyes, we are watching him get away with all the shit we could never get away with. Why is R. Kelly in jail and this guy a president?
So, okay, there's a lot to unpack there. So, with the first impeachment with with Trump. Yeah, you have my names fixed up. So, with the first impeachment with Trump, because you're right, there are a lot of things to attack Trump on. But what they chose to attack him with was nonsense. And now we know it was absolute nonsense because the basic argument was that Trump was installed by the Russians and he was colluding with the Russian government to win the election. And they were trying to get him on all of that, and which eventually turned into the Steele dossier. But it turns out the Steele dossier was completely fabricated by the FBI. And it actually turned out that during the 2016 election, it was Hillary Clinton that was contacting with the Russian government the whole time. So that whole thing that they got him on was a bunch of nonsense.
Bro, he incited a riot.
Okay, that's separate.
But okay,
I'm talking about the first impeachment. The first impeachment when I'm sorry, not impeachment. They tried to get him. Because did they end up impeaching him? Yeah, because it was in 2019. Because I remember we all got the news that he was getting impeached when we were overseas because it was over the Russia stuff. Yeah, and then that didn't go anywhere because they had no real evidence of it. And then now we actually learned that it was all the nonsense that I was just describing. And then when January 6th ended up happening, now I'm not saying I agree with January 6th happening. Like, that's not good to have a bunch of people rushing the Capitol and everything happened the way it did.
A white lady got shot that night, bro.
Right.
like
by the Capitol Police.
By the Capitol Police from a riot that he incited, that he got kicked off the internet by his homie, who he's homies with now. He got kicked off of Twitter and all that shit.
He didn't get kicked off by Elon Musk. That was when Jack Dorsey still owned it.
Well, then I miss Jack Dorsey because I thought it was Elon Musk. So that's my fault then. But the point is, he gets kicked off the internet. Why? For inciting a riot that caused harm to United States citizens. So now you want that guy to be the protector of the United States, the same guy who.
But he didn't incite the rioters. That's the thing. That's why that whole BBC situation is happening right now. Is because they cut the video together they cut the first. It was like in the first 7 minutes of a speech that he gave. They took 45 seconds of that, and then it was like 45 minutes later in that same video is when he says, because so the first 45 seconds was in the first 7 minutes, and it was something to the effect of "We're going to go to the Capitol." And they cut it off right when he says we're going to go peacefully and we're going to go together. We're going to go peacefully because it was for the overturning of the votes. And then 40 minutes later is the part where they splice it together. For the beginning part of it is when he says we have to fight like hell. But the fight like hell part of it was completely separate from that initial part, and there were 40 minutes separated in that same speech, and that's why the BBC is getting sued.
Here's what Malcolm X mobilized people. Martin Luther King mobilized people. Trump mobilized people. Whatever happens after that, in Selma, you see what I'm saying? Like in Selma, when we were getting attacked for trying to march peacefully, then all of a sudden these people get attacked for storming a government building off of somebody who mobilized these people. Well,
then we also found out too, though, in January 6th, that of the 300 and something people that were there, 207, it was either 217 or 227, I forget the number. 217, just to do a lower number. 217 of the people in the body of people that went to the Capitol were federal agents that were inciting the riot, or inciting the January 6th, whatever you want to call it. So they were all federal operatives that were in there.
So they all work for who?
Exactly, that's my point. So, and we also know that during Trump's first administration, his intelligence agencies were acting actively against him. I'm not defending a lot of the bad things Trump did. Like, I don't love the fact that we kept bombing Yemen. I don't love the fact that we kept bombing Somalia. And I don't love the fact, well, I'm kind of up in the air about the JCPOA, but it's basically the Iran nuclear deal that he pulled us out of, that Obama got us into. There's positives and negatives with both of that. I need to read more about it to actually decide if I like it or not. But my point is,
okay, well, go ahead.
Do I care? Yeah.
Finish your point.
I care just because there's a big part of my brain that's like politically autistic, and I don't know why. But that's why I kind of like digging into this stuff. But my point is that we know that his intelligence agencies were actively working against him during his first administration, and that's why we had that issue with agent provocateurs inside the government. It's been a problem for decades. But now we do know that well over 60% of that body of people that rushed the Capitol were feds. Now, if you brought this up in 2020, because there were people trying to bring this up in 2020, it's like, oh, this is a conspiracy theory. This is a bunch of bullshit. Whatever. It's not true. This didn't happen. Or sorry, in 2021 rather. This didn't happen because there was no real evidence for it at the time. But now all the investigations are coming out that are showing that it was either 217 or 227. Now, does that excuse what happened on January 6th? Not at all. But it's much in the same way as during the summer of 2020 when all the riots and the protests were happening then. People saw it on the media and they were like, oh, it's a bunch of people rioting. It's the Black Lives Matter people. We need to blame them. But then you see the actual reports on the ground. It's like, oh, well, why is it that 3 to 4 hours before all of these protests, because they were all planned as protests, why is it that there were pallets of bricks and baseball bats and cement blocks just being left, just out in the open? Why are they just left for all the protesters? Why is it that there was metadata from all these cell phones going from each of the protest locations? It's like, why is that happening? Why are there pictures of the same group of people that were at every single protest? And why is it that it was something like 90% of the protests that happened, they all turned into riots? Why are these trends happening? And it boils back down to, at least my argument, is agent provocateurs from the government that are looking to turn these protests into riots to then attack the social group that is at the core, at the base of the protest. You see what I'm saying? To bring a bad light to Black Lives Matter supporters, to bring a bad light to Trump supporters. So you see what I'm saying?
So, but this is okay. So what I'm getting at though is if you run a company, okay, you run a company and you hire, like I said, you franchised out. You have some building going somewhere else, right? You hire what do they call him? District manager? See, the guy who runs the fucking
the location, right?
Yeah, he's running this shit. Then all of a sudden you start getting calls, you start getting complaints. Shit's not going right. Shit's starting to get we might have to shut this building down. Well, what's going on? Let me talk to the manager. Oh, he doesn't know what the fuck's going on. Yeah. You would get rid of that guy immediately.
I completely agree.
And so then when you get rid of him, you don't then fix everything or attempt to fix everything and then be like, damn, we need to hire a new district manager. Well, why don't we just go get the same guy that we fucking fired? Let's just go get that guy again. You see what I'm saying?
Right. But that goes back to the problem of the real people that run the government, not the presidents.
So but it doesn't. Have you ever seen Killing Him Softly? It's a Brad Pitt movie.
Pitt, right? Yeah, years when it first came out.
Okay, yeah. So Ray Liotta, and this is it's such a fucking brilliant scene for how. So Ray Liotta, he's running this card game, right? And so he gets this idea he's gonna rob his card game. So he robs the card game, and nobody thinks anything of. Like he robs it, he gets away with it. Nobody thinks anything of it. They wouldn't expect they wouldn't expect him to rob his own game, right? So then what happens is these kids find out, like, because he starts talking shit. Like, yeah, man, I robbed. He got drunk and he starts talking shit. Like, yo, Doug, you won't believe this. I robbed my own game. He's telling him this. Like, I robbed my own game. Can you believe that? And I got away with it. And he's laughing. And they're all like, fucking asshole. But they all loved him. So they're all like, whatever. Right. So the kids, like these dudes, they found out, like, oh yeah, he robbed his own game. So he starts up another game. So they go, well, let's go rob it. And like, well, why would we do that? And like, because if we rob it again, they're gonna think it's him, right? So they rob it again. They find and so they send a hitman, which is where Brad Pitt comes in. And so that's the whole setup. But Brad Pitt is basically explaining. He goes, all right, well now I got to go smoke. He has to kill Ray Liotta first. He goes, all right, well I got to get him out of here. He goes, but he didn't do it. He goes, it doesn't matter if he did it. Doesn't matter if he did it. Doesn't matter if he didn't do it. The fact is, he's the figurehead. He's the one who did it the first time. So with him there, nothing's going to operate the right way. So you have to remove him, get him out of the way so we can get shit running again. And then afterwards, we'll go get the other two fucking knuckleheads. We'll go get the other. But first, you have to get rid of, you have to cut, you got to cut the head off the snake. You see what I'm saying? Do I think that Trump gives a fuck about white lives, blue lives matter? He's a businessman. All he sees is green. He's a fucking, he's been that way for a long time. Back in the day, rappers used to fucking put Trump in their fucking bars because they looked up to him for his business acumen and shit like that, you know?
Right.
But as far as running a country, he doesn't give a fuck. He's robbing the country. He's robbing the country right in front of you. Like,
I think I half agree with you. I think okay, so I fully agree that is Trump post 2019.
People don't have food stamps right now. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like
Right, but that is as much on the Democrats as it is the Republicans.
But that's what I'm. Okay, look. So this is what I'm trying to get at, man. Like, if you have a homie who's always starting shit and you stop inviting that guy to the party. You stop inviting him over to hang out with you, right? What Trump did the wizard shit with the whole 4 years while he wasn't in office. He kept in attention. He kept going to events. That's politics 101. He kept being in everybody's ear. Every time Biden would fuck up or fall off his fucking Segway or whatever
right,
the fuck,
yeah.
he would be there. See, look, that wouldn't be me if I was in office. Oh, look, they're fucking up again. Oh, look, see, I told you. The little shit that he does, whatever. So he's constantly on your mind. Then people start thinking, oh, maybe he was right. Maybe we didn't give him a fair shake. Maybe we didn't give him a fair shake the first time, and maybe we were a little hard. The first time he got inaugurated, there was nobody out there for him. They're like, what the fuck is happening? Is this some kind of crazy joke? The first time when he got impeached, I remember there was like this air that lifted, because I was in New York, this air that lifted. It was like this breath of fresh air, like, oh, well, I'm glad that's fucking over. Because COVID was a nightmare, bro. Like, I was outside. I wasn't inside like everybody. I was outside watching the game happen. This shit was going down for real. That guy... in everybody's ear, we go, let's give him another chance. And then all of a sudden, now we have Alligator Alcatraz. Now we have, which they had to shut down for environmental reasons, but I really think it was like, hey, what side of history do you want to be on? Because you're doing some Hitler shit right now. Then, all of a sudden, now, hey, let's get rid of Mexicans. Now we just have dudes. They're fucking hiring ICE agents and giving them better salaries than people off the street who have a bone to pick with whoever, and we get to kidnap people for free? What? And then we're going to take food away?
I'll tell you that part right there. I'll take it a step further. There's a bunch of ICE whistleblowers that are, I don't know if you've read about this or not, but there's ICE whistleblowers that are coming out that are saying that in April or May of this year or so is when they started implementing quotas that they needed to get 3,000 detainments a week. And they got to a point where they're like, okay, well, we organically, like doing our job, going after violent illegal immigrants, we can't hit that number. So now we have to go to places like Home Depot where we know there are, by all like standards, there are undocumented people, but they're non-violent. They're not breaking the law outside of just being here illegally. They're not breaking the law. But we know that if we go there, get our 3,000, we'll be able to get our quota, which is a horrible policy for any right. Police. Any policing agency of any stature, whether it's like your local cops or it's a federal agency, when you put a quota on there, you're gonna obviously fudge the numbers, and you're gonna get the numbers from, let's just say, unethical methods.
Yeah, you're gonna get them however you get them because you don't want to get fired because you want. So now, if you don't want to get fired because you have to please your boss with these quotas, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, while that's going on, now we're taking food away from babies. We're taking food away because we can't get our shit together, so we're not showing up to work, so the babies can't eat. It's illegal to not feed your baby. That's neglect.
Right.
You can't, and if you are unable to feed your baby, you're supposed to then go to the government and say, hey, look, I can't provide food for my baby. The government will then provide assistance for you. So now if the government cannot provide assistance for you, where are you going to get this food? You're going to go get your pistol. You're going to go outside and you're going to go get food
you'd be more
because
crime.
Your baby has to eat. So now, if this is my company and I'm running the company, and when I walk into my building and I see all of this shit going on, I'm not going to go to the employees kidnapping people. I'm not going to go to people robbing people so they can get something to eat. I'm going to the manager. What the fuck is going on here? You can't do the job. Get the fuck out. We need somebody else.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at.
No, I agree.
From a business point, this doesn't make sense.
Oh, and that's where I agree with you, to be honest with you, because and that's why I ended like a video I put on Instagram a couple nights ago with a few things that are going on lately, like just in the last 90 days alone. I look at a lot of this and I'm like, where, and I should educate myself on this more, but like where genuinely, where does it then cross the line that impeachment, like legitimate impeachment, like we have hard evidence that these things are not going right, and there is an argument to be made that it's intentional, right? Because again, all this has to be proven in front of a congressional committee and then eventually in front of a court. So we now have strict evidence of these things. Where then does it go from, okay, he's just a really shitty president and this administration is fucked, or does it go to impeachment level? Because there's a few things that come to mind lately that I'm like, okay, I wonder if you actually if you brought impeachment orders up, that this would be worth voting on. Because we saw the major flip that happened with the Epstein vote alone, where every Republican, it was only estimated that like, I think it was only like 75 to 100 maybe Republicans would flip on Trump. All of them did. All of them flipped on Trump and then voted for the Epstein files. So if they're willing to do that, and we'll see what happens, because I guess now they have like 23 days, 22 days to release the files by law. So if they're willing to flip on that, what else is the Republican body of the Senate? Where else are they willing to flip on Trump? And if there are credible things to bring up impeachment files on, do then more Republicans follow suit? And they're like, hey, yeah, none of us are happy with this shit. I mean, you have people like who used to be his biggest supporter. You have Marjorie Taylor Greene stepping down, and she's like, yeah, I've been burned by this administration. They're not here to help the Americans. I'm done. Fuck this.
Yeah, but see, I guess here's my thing. It's like when the whole house is on fire, but you guys brought the gasoline and you brought the matches. I can't, like, here's my thing. You know the whole hope for the best, prepare for the worst thing?
Yeah.
It's going to be another long 3 years, bro. And I'm going to say, because like, so to be like, hey, we got to get this guy out. He was out. We put him back in.
You got to remember too, in 2024, there wasn't exactly a deep bench to pull from. It was either him or Kamala. And you got to imagine too, Kamala wasn't the problem. She was a symptom. It was the Democratic Party as a whole.
They set that woman up for failure.
They did. They yeah.
You know what my dad said to me? My dad was born in like 1936, so he says some of the illest shit, and he just like, but he just says it. He goes, so when Biden won, he goes, well, now we know she'll never be president. I'm like, what? He goes, well, because she's vice president. They're not gonna. Oh, he goes, we don't have to worry about him being assassinated. I'm like, why? Because then Kamala would be president, and he's an old black dude from Texas, so he sees the game from that perspective. You're not gonna let a black woman run this country. You're just not. Like, I have material on it and everything. We don't have to go, but you got to understand the level of progression that we have to get to before a black woman will run this country is all of that other shit, all that poison, all that, we have to flush all of that toxic shit out.
But here's the thing though. She wasn't a good vice president, but she wasn't even a good candidate on her own merits.
Does anybody ever pay attention to the vice president? Biden got in because he got dapped up by Obama.
Well, that's how bad she was. That's my point, though. Is like whenever they would put her out in public, she would just eat it every time. That's why they hit her for half the administration.
But who was her mentor? That's what I'm trying to tell you, man. They set this woman up for failure. So then they can go, see, it's not working. But it's like, did you really give them the keys? Did you?
They set her up for failure in that last, because they announced her as the Democratic candidate for president only
100 days or something like
109 days or something like that. But the administration that she was a part of leading up to that, again, every time they put her in front of a camera, it was not good. Public speaking and just interviewing in general is not her strong suit, and she's now going around doing podcasts, and more power to her.
Wait, didn't she like straight up smoke Trump in the debate that everybody?
No, I wouldn't say she smoked Trump. First of all, I think the one debate that her and Trump had, I don't think there was not a winner, but the loser were the Americans for sure. But that was not a good debate at all.
Fair enough
on either one of their ends. But my point is though is that they had to hide her for half the time the administration was in power, because she just wasn't good at articulating herself. She wasn't great in public. And then the one thing they did put her in charge of for it was maybe 60 days, was trying to broker a peace deal in the Ukrainian war, and nothing good came out of that. And I think there were actual members, I want to say it was members of the Ukrainian government she was working with that were coming out like, we can't work with her. She has no idea what she's talking about. So all of that started circulating around. So they had to hide her. And then when the time came for her, because you got to remember too, with Kamala just as a candidate, like she didn't make it to Iowa in that first when they were trying to pick who was going to run against Trump in 2020. Now clearly, this is what, the second, third time that they stole this election or stole the candidacy from Bernie. He was clearly supposed to. It was either between him or Tulsi Gabbard. Like those were clearly the two people they had to choose from.
See, I don't even know who that second person is.
So
like
Tulsi,
you are deep in there with the okay.
So Tulsi Gabbard is currently the director of national intelligence, and she's fucked her job up left and right. Talk about getting corrupted by the system. The long story short on Tulsi Gabbard is that she was a Democrat. She was a congresswoman. Yeah, she was a congresswoman from Hawaii, and her whole pitch when she was in office and then leading into the 2020 election, and obviously she lost, her whole pitch the entire time was, even though she was currently in the National Guard, I think she had to step out of the National Guard when she got part of the administration now, but her whole pitch was stop regime change wars around the world. We are not the world police. We need to stop doing this. It is breaking our country. It is breaking our budget. We can't keep supporting these wars. We need to get out of Afghanistan before the whole pullout happened.
Oh, well, of course she wasn't going to win then.
Yeah, that was her whole. That was her.
You can't say shit like that. Yeah. Like she's right, but you can't say shit like that.
So that was her whole pitch, and then she was actually the one that knocked Kamala Harris out of the running because she had that big moment in the first debate before they went to Iowa, before the Iowa caucus happened. She had that moment in the debate where they were talking about, they were going back and forth about, oh man, it's escaping me what the main subject was, but it ended up spiraling into their respective records between Tulsi Gabbard and Kamala Harris about what they had done previously in their jobs. And with Kamala Harris being a I want to say district attorney in California, and how she was going around before this debate seeing how proud she was of her record in California, and then how proud she is of the job that she did. But then when she got asked about illegally locking people up for marijuana charges and then illegally putting people on death row, because there was 2 cases where she had withheld DNA evidence that would have taken 2 people off of death row. And then so Tulsi Gabbard brings that up in the debate, and she goes, "You've withheld DNA evidence that ruined these people's lives. It would have not only got them off of death row, but it would have exonerated them from their charges." I believe one was for murder, and then I think they were both murder cases. And then she tells her, when you got asked about, you lock all these people up for marijuana, but then when you ask if you smoked marijuana, you laugh it off and you don't answer the question, you're a dishonest person. And this whole big smackdown moment in the debate, that pretty much kicks her out of the race. She doesn't make it to Iowa, and then Biden ends up picking her for vice president. Anyway, so all of that happens. She becomes part of the administration. And again, they completely set her up for failure, not just starting a new candidate 109 days out from an election. They do it without a nomination process. They just pick her. And they say, hey, Democratic Party, after 3 years and some change of the COVID madness, the war in Gaza, the Ukrainian war, they're like, hey, this is your person. A huge portion of their base abandons the Democratic Party and either stays home and doesn't vote, or they flip and they vote for Trump because
illegally molesting women and tax fraud and being a felon. Was it 34 counts or some shit like that?
On a novel legal theory that never been used before, and it's never going to get used again because it didn't hold up in court. Because the 34 frauds came, the 34 felonies that came out were based off of the 34 checks. Now, granted, did he cheat on his wife with Stormy Daniel and pay her hush money? 110%.
Well, but it goes back to horny and angry, man.
Right.
Look, I guess
my point in bringing all this up is just that they really fucked Kamala Harris, and that's why she's going around now, because she's putting out the new book, she's doing a bunch of podcasts, and she's talking about and more power to her. She's actually speaking freely now, and it's funny. I will say this to her credit. It is interesting how well spoken she is when she's not trying to censure herself.
Okay, hold
due
on.
to a party.
Wait a minute, but I can't. The black community will never forgive me if I don't at least address. We get that all the time, man. That it's funny how well spoken you are. You see, and it's not. It's a thing, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm
not saying it from a basis of race. I'm saying it from the basis of getting held back by the administration she's in.
That's what I'm trying. But this is what I'm trying to tell you. This was what I was trying to tell you. We wrapped it in politics, but this is what I was trying to tell you about the game in general, and especially like with comedy. Like with comedy, you have to be able to. Do you play chess?
No, okay. I'm not smart enough for that. No.
You probably, bro. If you like politics, chess is politics, man. Chess. That's all it is. You're trying to capture the king. That's all. You're trying to capture the other guy's king. So anyway.
Yeah, I see the analogy. Yeah.
You see what I'm getting at? So, but I'll say this: when Kamala gets to speak freely, you just look at the words you just used, and in comedy, that's you got to pay attention to every word you use because all these words mean something. So, for what you just said, right? Look at how well she can speak when she gets to speak freely on all these podcasts. That's what you said.
Yeah,
that's exactly what you said.
No, it's the truth.
So now think about it. Think about it. When she's just a person, wow. Well, by golly, that's what I'm getting at. Whereas Trump was everywhere in your fit. Kamala was never like these 4 years. Nobody got to know who Kamala was, but everybody. So that's what I'm saying. So they don't even know this woman. My bad, Kamala. My bad, Kamala.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So they didn't even get to give her a fair shake because they don't know her. Like, whereas you just said, wow, she actually has good points. That's what I'm trying to get. We get this all the time. Like, especially, like, I get it all the time. Wow, you speak really well. Wow, you're actually really smart. As if that's like, and it's like, well, yeah, dude, I live in the world, man.
Talk about a fucking backhanded compliment, huh?
You know what I mean? Like... Like, it's like one of those, like, fuck, what are we talking about?
Right.
What are we talking? And so that's what I'm getting at with the game was never meant for us to win. You see what I'm saying? The Obama had to be that guy, whereas Trump gets to be this guy. If Obama was this guy, it never would have went over that way. It never would have went over that way. And I'm not saying it to be like to bring up race. I'm saying it to bring up the fact that this country is sick in a way that has never changed since the Civil War and before the Civil War. It's just been brewing and it's brewing and it's brewing and it's always there. And until we can figure out how to change that, then it's just going to be the same game in a different arena. And that's where politics and comedy comes back. Whereas comedy, we're trying to break this thing. Like my favorite thing about the way I do my shit is that I'm the bad guy. So you either love me or you hate me, but everybody in this room is laughing together.
Right, unifying.
You could be black, you could be white, you could be Mexican. You don't care when you're at a comedy show, you're laughing. But then in politics, they point out that you're black. They point out that you're white. They point out that you're Mexican. There's a census going around. We're kidnapped. Well, what happens when all the Mexicans are gone? All right, well, somebody else has to get that red X on their back. Who's it going to be? You know what I mean? Like, I can't tell my grandma can't go to the grocery store. That's like her last thing that she gets to do. She can't go to the grocery store now because I'm afraid something might happen. She might get robbed and not even realize she did it. She got robbed because she has dementia. Grandma, where are the groceries? Oh, I don't know. I forgot I even got them. But you see what I'm saying? Like, it's that level of insanity that's happening because the administration doesn't give a fuck right now. Like, they just don't. And it's like, if you want to run the country, by all means, okay, but run the country. Like, you know what I mean? But when babies are starving, when fathers, mothers, kids, they're crying because their family members are getting kidnapped. When you're setting up they call it alligator Alcatraz because it's in the middle of the Everglades, bro. You don't think people disappeared there? People disappear in the Everglades all the time already. Now, you see what I mean? Black people get lost in we've been getting lost in the system. Now you're an undocumented human, and now you're in a place you don't know. If you disappear, who cares?
Well, that was the crazy part with the Patriot. I remember if it was the Patriot Act or the second. It's not the second Patriot Act, but it's like a bunch of addendums that they made to add on to the Patriot Act, where is if they feel like you are affiliated, or if you are, it's like affiliated with a terror organization, or if you are about to commit an act of terror, they can just detain you with zero due process and with zero evidence, and they can detain you for an undisclosed amount of time until they've completed their investigation.
And then
the fact that that's legal still,
it's crazy,
is insane.
And then let me ask you, what does habeas corpus mean?
Let's look up a strict definition.
Yeah,
because I want to say that habeas corpus was repealed.
I'm pretty sure habeas corpus means you have the right to a fair trial and a right to...
It was repealed during the Patriot Act on a federal level. Yeah, so legal procedure that allows an imprisoned person to challenge the legality of their detention by demanding the custodian bring them before a court to determine if the imprisonment is lawful. It's Latin for you have the body. Now, I want to say that got like suspended or like taken out during the Patriot Act.
They removed it from the fucking Constitution on the internet recently. I don't know how recent, but I know recently enough for me to know it, and I don't even pay attention as much. You know what I mean? So, and that's why I wanted you to read it, so that way it didn't sound like I was just talking shit. Like if you remove something, right? So how do people look up information now? On their phone. So now if you start removing information from the phone, and now you got to actually go to a library or go to these places where they have these things called books, and most people aren't going to do that, then what does that say about the future? If people don't even know the rights that they don't know.
It was the Patriot Act too. Just kidding. It is called the Patriot Act too. Yeah. That's ridiculous. Do you ever have to do in school, talking about going to a library, what was it called where you had to get the little like...
The Dewey Decimal System?
Well, the Dewey Decimal System is how they organize everything, but it was if you wanted to go look at old articles from like newspapers, the microfiche. Did you ever have to do that?
I never had to do... Bro, when I was in the library, it was like... Honestly, it was picture books. It wasn't because...
I mean, you saw my library out there. I'm still into picture books.
Yeah, but like before comic books, because comic books came later, so it was like the picture book, like we were kids and shit like that. But the library, like all that, that shit was boring to me. Like I'm not. That shit was like. But now I get older, I realize like, damn, they really do hide all of this shit in books. Like everything you need to know is in a book somewhere, and you can just read it. But that's the problem, because you read the book, and then most of the other people didn't read the book, and so like. Okay, I was gonna bring up one book. I'm not gonna bring it up because I don't even want to. I don't even. That's a spicy one.
Say it.
Oh, okay. I'll just fuck it. It's already on my mind. So, Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Yeah.
That one. I was so upset when I actually got to read that book, because in black culture, you're an Uncle Tom. Yeah, dude, you're fucking Uncle Tom. You're working for the man. You know what I mean? Like you're kissing up to Whitey and shit like that. And that's what I always thought it meant. Like, yeah, you're an Uncle Tom. You're fucking kiss ass to the white man.
I think it's important to say that I've never read Uncle Tom's Cabin. I'm sure that was on a reading list that I had as a high schooler, but just never read it.
You know, like I didn't want to bring it up because we just got past race. You know what I mean?
You're good. Yeah, you're good.
But in Uncle Tom's Cabin, what it is it's about slavery. It's straight up about slavery. Up and down, it's about slavery. And Tom, he's an older slave, and he works on this plantation. And yeah, he's good at his job. Like he's the one. Yeah, you can send him into the store. He's coming right back. You know what I mean? He's the one when it comes to that shit. Like, yeah, he's the good. So he's the good slave, the good Negro, whatever, right? But he also has a family. You see what I mean? And now, the more you grow into being a man, you understand what it is to take care of you. You're going to do shit that you wouldn't normally do when you have other people to take care of. So he has his family, but he's an older dude, right? So there's also this woman on the plantation, slave woman, and she has a child, and the child can dance. Right, the child can dance and sing all that, and one day they call, you know how like they have those things where one of their homies comes over and they're in the living room and shit like that. So it was one of those, like they're in the living room and they want, hey, I want to show off my new nigga, you know, like, hey, my bad, but whatever, like I want to show off my I want to show off my new slaves. Hey, go get your boy, tell him to come in and do the thing. So the boy comes in, he does his little dance, and see, he's good, right. So then the boy takes off, right, and then the two owners are talking, and then the owner goes, hey, so I want to buy that boy. Well, how much you want for him? Like, well, shit, what are you gonna give me for him? You know what I mean? Like, so they start talking. He goes, all right, well, I want the boy and I want Tom, like, you know, and then they're like, but I want Tom too. He's like, no, you can't, you can't have Tom, like, you know what I mean? But they're like, no, I want Tom, I want the boy, and then they figure out the number, and he's like, all right, fine, whatever. The woman, the mother of the child hears this. Later that night, goes to Tom's cabin, like, hey, bro, I don't know about you, I'm getting the fuck out of here because they're coming to take my boy. I'm running, I'm going, I'm running north. I don't give a fuck, I'm gone, right? And Tom goes, well, I can't have that happen to you. He goes, you go ahead with your baby. And she goes, but what about, they're gonna sell you too. He goes, I'll stay here because if I go with you, I'm going to slow you down. So I'll stay here, I'll handle it. You go, you make it. So the woman and the kid, they take off. They take off running. The next day they come, they're looking for him, can't find him. They're like, Tom, where's? Can't find him. So then they send two of their bucks to beat the shit out of Tom, and they kill Tom. And Tom ends up dying protecting this woman and this child, and the woman and the child make it to freedom. That's who Tom was. But if you hear the story of it, oh, Uncle Tom was a kiss ass to the white man. Uncle Tom saved us from you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you put this into context, the father saved the mother and the child.
Right.
By giving himself.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
You see what I'm saying? But the owners sent two of us to take Tom out. That's how crooked this game is, and that's what. But I would have never known that if I didn't read the book, because we don't read the books. So to go back to your point, if you're looking up information on your phone and you don't know what you're looking for, and you just get the Google highlights, then you're never really gonna know what the system is. And so when you're trying to fight the system without all the information, you're fucked. Like, there's no way to win. So I say that to say I just talk shit, man. I just talk shit. I hang out.
But no, that's a great point that you bring up. Like, there is the simplest way to put it, I feel like, is to understand a lot of this stuff. Reading is required.
It is.
You can't. There's no easy way to get around that. Like, it's nice that we have AI. It's nice that we have ways that things can get summarized. But you need to be able to pick out, okay, what's important? Okay, now investigate that. Read that. Learn about that, and learn the story of it. In the actual context of it. Yeah, I mean, up until 2 minutes ago, that's all I knew as well about Uncle Tom, was that that's a slang for a black person that sucks up to a white person, or is what, and there's the slavery era connotations of which that's supposed to come from. But I didn't know the actual story of it. I've never read the book.
Most people don't.
Yeah, I've never read that book. No.
You know, and I honestly did it out of spite, man. It was just like, no, we're gonna get to the bottom of this one. You know what I mean? We're gonna get to the bottom of this fucking one. And then when you but imagine the slap in the face, man. Like, the slap in the face to be like, at the end of this book, written by a fucking white woman, and it's us killing us at the end of it. You know what I mean? It's still us killing us. Like, no matter how it's still us against us. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, look, it doesn't. And the book I was going to bring up before that, though, was the dialogues of Plato. And Plato, you know, back in the way, all the philosophers. Yeah. So the philosophers and shit like that. So all these philosophers, they all came from Socrates. Socrates was just a homeless dude. He was just some dude talking shit on the street. You know, like the first section of this book is the trial of Socrates. They put him on trial and they condemn him to death for corrupting the youth, right? And so, but the whole trial, he defended himself in court, and it was the illest, most gangster thing I've ever read in my life. Like, I think differently after, there was a way I thought before, and then I read this, and now it's like, holy shit, what the fuck? Like, that, like, okay, so. They condemn him for corrupting the youth, right? But really, he was just a wino on the street talking shit, asking the questions. Why are you doing it like this? Why are you doing it like that? There was a dude who was going to be a lawyer, right? And he decided that he was going to put his own father on trial for murder. But when it came out, it was like the father had tied up one of their slaves, one of their slaves or something like that, and he put him in a ditch, and then the dude died in the ditch, right? But the slave had did something wrong. I forget what he did, but he did something to where it was like, oh no, this is necessary. But it wasn't like, I don't even know if it was like one of their workers did something stupid, puts him in the thing, he dies. So then Socrates is basically like, but why would you put your father on trial? Didn't like, and then he was going and he was walking through like this whole case, and he was just, and he would ask all the hard questions, and it's like, and you know, and the dude's basically at the end of it, the dude was just, because he was trying to make a good example that he could be a good lawyer, and so he was like, well, if I put my father on trial, then they'll know that I don't give a fuck. It basically is what it was, and that's what he was getting to the heart of. So when he was on trial for corrupting the youth, he was like, dude, I'm just a guy in the street talking shit, asking questions. I'm asking all the questions that go against the system that you guys created. But you guys are the ones who created this system. So if you can't protect your system from these questions, then maybe it's a faulty system. But if you agree, right?
So wait, what was Socrates' argument?
Socrates
against the guy. He was saying, why did you put your father on trial?
Yeah, so
that seems like the right thing to do.
No, but like the way, I don't even know, he was like, but this is your father. So basically, if your father is, like, in the way he asked the question, like, when I go home, I'll like read.
Yeah, no, this is interesting.
Yeah, because basically, like, the whole way Socrates broke it down, and I'm stupid. Like, when it comes to like, I'm not going to remember it, but I'm telling you, if whoever's listening to this, if they go find dialogues of Plato and look this up, and you'll be, but it's basically like, he was getting at like, okay, so your father did what a father was supposed to do to protect his like, right, and so he sought justice, and then the justice that he sought, like, in consequence, the dude died. He didn't mean for the guy to die, because they tied him up, and then he went to go get somebody, and when he came back, the dude just fucking dude died, right? But he went to go do. So he goes, all right, so he did the thing. The dude happened to die. Okay, but now you're gonna put your father on trial, and you're gonna condemn your father to death. So you want justice for the justice that your father just got? Like, what sense does that make?
I see the, yeah. Okay.
And you're doing this for grandeur to please who? So then you're going to please these people, but then you're not going to have your father. Like, so that was his logic. He was like, so like that. He was trying to break it down to the simplest terms of like humanity, like just on a human level. Look at what you're doing. That's basically all of Socrates. All of Socrates is like, yeah, okay, the game is cool, but look at what we're doing. Why are we doing this? So when he's in, and this was just him, and like, so a lot of these are just him having a conversation with somebody, and then Plato writing down the conversation that he had, right? So now all of the people who follow Socrates, they're in his trial, watching him defend himself, right? And he's basically saying, you guys are accusing me of corrupting the youth, but I'm not doing anything. I don't even ask for money. Look at my clothes. Like, I'm a fucking homeless dude. I'm just on the street. I'm just asking these kids these important critical thinking. He was introducing critical thinking. Okay, if this is happening, why is this happening? Why are you doing it this way? Why are you following this rule? Why are you doing it like this? That's basically the questions he's asking. And he was saying, look, this is your guys' system. I'm playing in your system, and I'm showing you that your system is bullshit and it's broken. You know it's broken, and I know it's broken, because if it wasn't broken, you would be able to answer these questions, but you can't.
Right.
And you can't admit that I'm right, because if you admit that I'm right, then that would have to be admitting that the system is wrong, so you have to kill me. That was the fucking most gay. He was like, I can't exist in this world with this system, because I'm going to be this and you're going to be that. So he basically condemned himself to death, but also was like, I know he died knowing he was right, but knowing there was nothing he could do about being right.
Right.
And that's that made me think about everything different. It's like, okay, have you seen there's this Fargo, like this show Fargo, they have like this poster, and on the poster there's like this school of fish, and they're all swimming this way, and then there's one fish and he's swimming that way, and then on the little caption it says, what if you're the one that's right?
Yeah.
Does it, you know what I mean? Does it matter? Jesus was right, and look what the fuck they did to him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so, and that's what I guess that's what I'm getting at, is like with all of this stuff, with all of the politics and all of everything, man, we can go around and around in circles, because that's exactly what they want us to do. Or we can just stop for a second, take a look at what's really going on, and be like, all right, you ain't got food. You ain't got food. Okay, well, what do you got? All right, you got the fucking bread. All right, you got the peanut butter. Cool. I guess we're making sandwiches.
Right. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But instead,
well,
it's
that's why there's such a heavy focus on the social issues to keep people arguing, because that's a never-ending argument. Because I feel like maybe this is wishful thinking. I try to be a realist, but maybe this is wishful thinking. I really do think that the grand majority, not just the majority, but the grand majority of people in the United States want the same thing.
Absolutely.
For the most, right?
We want freedom, bro.
Yeah, they want the freedom to do what they want. They want, if they so choose, they want to have a family, have the ability to raise a family, send your kid to a good school, give your kids the opportunities to live their life to the fullest extent that they can, and then you want that for yourself, and so on and so forth.
I feel like men want that. I feel like women want to travel. like I'm just gonna.
A lot do.
I'm gonna keep it real with you, man, because I've met a lot of mothers, man, and I realize that's not the dream that they signed up for. That's the dream we signed up for, and we just gave it to them. Well,
I think a lot of women want to raise their kids and have a good be like the CEO of the household and like do their thing. I think a lot of women still want that.
Ayesha Curry has a husband worth $480 billion or some shit like that. He's one of the most amazing basketball players in the entire world. And I don't know. I never wanted to be a mother. What are you talking about? You can literally go around the world.
Right. That's the exception, not the rule.
Well, but that's but you got to understand these people. So this is what I'm getting at. I'm trying to, believe it or not, all of this, I'm still just talking about comedy. Believe it or not, if you can pick up what I'm trying to say to you, it's all about comedy, because it's the same gym. Ayesha Curry is in a position to where other women are going to listen to her because she's in that position. Cardi B, Ice Spice, all these women, they're all hoes. But you can't, I'm not even trying to be, they're hoes, man. But look, man, do you think and I'm not even saying it to be disrespectful, because there's a play, hoes get shit done, man. They do. Hoes get shit done. They know shit that most people don't know, because every dude on the planet wants his dick sucked. You know what I mean?
That is the downfall of most men.
The only difference between a hoe and a regular chick is she's gonna be like, all right, well, what are you gonna give me for it? You know what I mean? That was the first profession for a reason, because
what do they call it? The longest profession?
Yeah, we're horny and angry.
Or the oldest profession.
You see what I mean? So now you have Cardi B, you have Ice Spice, you have all of these women who have these platforms to talk to these younger women. So now these younger women go, oh, I need to be a hoe too. I need to put all the I'm gonna get in so much. I have white friends, black friends, whatever. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. We're already here. White women age like raisins, man.
Okay, what does that have to do with anything?
So just follow me for a second. They age like raisins, man, and this goes back to slavery too. Imagine, right? Your husband is the slave. He's the plantation owner. Right, so he owns everything. He owns the field. He owns the grass. You can do whatever the fuck you want. You are queen of the castle. You're his husband or his wife. You're the queen of the castle, right? So now you're supposed to be the queen bitch, but now all of a sudden it's fucking hot or whatever, and you see this slave woman out there, and she's beautiful, and she's fucking sweating, and her skin's glistening and shit like that. There's another beautiful one in the kitchen making your husband food, and he's looking at, and you see, women do it today. Women see the way men look at women, that's what they want to be looked at like that, right? So now you see your husband looking at this woman, right? And then all of a sudden she's pregnant. All of a sudden that baby comes out and happens to be light skinned. You see what I'm saying? And you can't do it, because then you go get one of these field hands who's also big and strong, because he's in the field all day. So now his muscles are fucking glistening and shit like that. And that's what a man is supposed to look like versus whatever your husband's doing, right? So I'm gonna go fuck this dude, right? So then you go fuck him. You get pregnant, but does your husband care? No, he's gonna fucking sell both of them. He's gonna fuck so there's no power there. So then you see this and you're like, well, how do I be beautiful like that? Oh. Well, I'm going to get lip fillers. I'm going to get Botox. I'm going to make myself look younger, look prettier. I'm going to do something to my hair. I'm going to get my nails done. I'm going to get my ass done. So that way I can have a big ass like these women. So that way I can have big lips like these women, right? So then So these people got all this shit so that way they can look like us. And then now we see that and we go, well, we want to be like the white ones because the white ones have all the money and they have all the access to all the things and they look like they're having so much fun. So I'm going to go get lip filler. I'm going to go get... And so now you have a whole generation full of women with fucking concrete in their ass and fucking like stomach fat in their lips and shit, trying to be these things that they never had to be because the things that they are trying to be is from the people who are trying to be them. So everybody's just running in this weird circle trying to catch each other when it's like, can you just stop and chill? But we don't have a stop and chill person anymore. Lauryn Hill retired. Aaliyah died in a plane crash. Queen Latifah is doing Equalizer now. She's old news now. So all the new generation who can talk to this new generation, they're all hoes. So what are the kids gonna do? They're all gonna be hoes. All the boys, they all want to be savages. That's what I'm saying about hip hop. Hip hop used to have a message, man. It still does. Real hip hop still has a message, but real hip hop doesn't have this platform. Hip hop, the people knew back then that these kids weren't going to pay attention in school. Who we pay attention to? We pay attention to the people who are like us. Well, who's like us? The rappers. So the rappers would be giving us the knowledge. The rappers would be giving us the game. Nas, what was it? Before we came to this country, we were kings and queens, never porch monkeys. There was empires in Africa called Kush. Timbuktu, where every race came to get books to learn from black teachers who taught Greeks and Romans, Asians, Arabs, and gave them gold. When gold was converted to money, it all changed. Money then became empowerment for Europeans. The Persian military invaded. They heard about the gold, the teachings, and everything sacred. Egypt was the place that Alexander the Great went. He wasn't shocked that the mountains were black faces, shot up their nose to impose what basically still goes on today, you see, if the truth is told that the youth can grow and they'll learn to survive until they gain control. Nobody says you'll have to be gangsters or hoes. Read more, learn more, change the globe. That was Nas in a song. And I heard that when I was like 13. You know what I mean? And then he had kids singing the hook. I know I can. That's what the music was. But now, I got a wet ass pussy. Now, I'm a savage. Now, whatever the fuck they're talking about now. And it's not their fault. They're just doing whatever because everybody wants to make it. So if you see those guys and those are the guys that are making it, if the hoes are the ones that are making it, well, then maybe I got to be a hoe too. So
that's why OnlyFans is so big.
OnlyFans is huge. You can't get mad at it. It's personalized porn. Yeah. I'm not mad at... Bro, I say this on stage. If Kamala had an OnlyFans, she would have won. She would have won, dog.
I don't know if she would have won, but she would have had a lot more money.
She would have won.
She would have had a lot more money at the end of it.
You know, like, look, man, I'm saying she could start one right now. She might actually win in 4 years from now. Point being, man, like, when you know who we are, like, when you know deep down who we are as people, then you can start pulling on the strings. And when you start to pull on the strings, that's when you can start to move people. Joe Rogan. Well, I guess this is an official endorsement for Trump because Kamala didn't want to do his podcast. So he said, fuck it, I'm going to endorse Trump. I don't even think he realized at the time how many people he influenced. But then if Joe Rogan says it, fuck it, I guess I'm voting for Trump too because I want to be like Joe Rogan. So it's the same shit with everything, right? So if you can... So to bring it back to Ayesha Curry, right? If she has this platform where she's saying, yeah, but I don't really know. I'm not really that happy. And that's the life that you have the kids, you have the money, you have no needs. Right. Everywhere your husband goes, he's telling, bigger. I remember she had some cooking show or shit. I didn't watch it. I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to watch Ayesha Curry cooking. I like to watch your husband play basketball. I don't give a fuck about you. But that's the thing, man. You gotta, women, like... Dick is one thing, but for them it's desire. It's desire, man. Like women are queens, right? Like so they all want to feel like the queen when they see that. Where like you know that the slow motion in the movies where like the woman walks down the street and like all the dudes are looking. They all want to feel that. She doesn't feel that because her husband is that. You see what I'm saying? And no woman on planet Earth, a vagina will get a woman to the same place where fucking you gotta like murder a dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying? So they already know the rules aren't different for them. So it's like, well, if hers can get her that, then what's What's wrong with mine? Well, maybe I got to be this to get that. So when you say the American dream, yeah, that's what we want. We want freedom, but we don't even know what the freedom is. So it's like when they came and a lot of slaves after slavery just became sharecroppers because they're like, hey, all right, you're free to go. Go where? This is what we know how to do. And then when you see what I'm saying? So I say that, man, to say, like, again, like, it's like people are stupid, but not from their own fault. It's from just not, when you don't know what you don't know and somebody else does, they know how to manipulate the situation.
Well, I think a lot of what you're describing too is the people that look to modern, like all the female rappers that you described, or basically what you alluded to with the male side of things is like you need like the Andrew Tates of the world, right? I think that a lot of people that look to those people as that's what I should aspire to be. Sure, is it good to have like a ton of money? I'm sure it's great to have a lot of money. I don't know anything about that, but I'm sure it is great. But if you're chasing all of those, because basically it's just modern day idols, right? So if you're chasing all of those things, I think there's a real lack that comes with a real lack of purpose. You might be like, and people might see that and say, oh no, I'm going to try to chase like a music career. I'm going to try to chase a whatever entertainment career because that has a lot of money. Well, if you're not really passionate about that, you're probably not going to go anywhere anyway. But if you're just chasing very, I guess, worldly things, a lot of that is because of a lack of purpose and a real lack of, okay, not just like what makes you happy or anything like that, but like what is, how do I put this? Like what is really, like, 'cause there's a lot of people, for instance, that they really want to be a parent, right? They really want to have a kid. They really want to have a family. And once they know that that's in them and that's what drives them. And once they get to that goal, it does fill that part of their soul and it fills that part of their, whatever their makeup is that is them, makes them happy. I guess what I'm saying is like, I think everyone, how do I put this? I know what I want to say, but like, I think the whole point of being around, a whole point of life is figuring out what gives you a sense of purpose and fulfillment, not happiness.
Absolutely.
Because happiness is an emotion and it's fleeting. Like you could lose a job, you could lose a worldly or material thing, and that no longer makes you happy, that makes you sad. But what fulfills you, really, if you, at least in my opinion, if you break it down, is real, genuine human connection and like family or something along those lines. But when you're chasing a look that another person has, if you're chasing material things that this person has, well, let's say for argument's sake, you get there. It's your human instinct to continue to want more. That's why I'm sure you have, on top of what you described as well, but why you have someone like Steph Curry's wife, that if she is out there saying those things, I don't pay attention to her at all. But if you have someone like that out there saying that they're at the they're at the top of the mountain, they have all the money, they have the house and the kids and all that, and they still want more, well, that should be a clear indicator that yes, it's great to have a lot of money, but that ain't gonna make you happy.
But yeah, and I guess that, okay, so to that point of what when I brought up Aisha Curry and stuff, like it's that point of like the thing that you thought you were chasing, you realize, like when you see her, you clearly see she's depressed, and not depressed from, I don't even know what it is. I'm not her. Like, you know what I mean? I can't speak for her. I can't speak for Steph. I don't know what's going on. But what I'm saying, from what you're seeing, you go, oh, she's depressed and she has all this stuff, but this is the stuff you're chasing. You see what I mean? Like, so it's like, so right there, it's like a mirror. It's like she's showing you, look, this is the thing you're chasing. I'm not happy here, but all the things that, like, the human connection, all that, that's the stuff we're throwing away trying to get there, right? But by the time we figure out that we threw it away, it's already gone. Yeah. And so then in America, profits off of that. They profit off your loneliness. They profit off your depression. They profit off your anger. All of that stuff is big business in America. America broke the family system, right? So they can sell you the family. They broke the whole system and said, oh, yeah, this is what you can have if you do X, Y, and Z, right? Meanwhile, the people who are taking over America kept that family system. Okay, Mexicans, right? Like I say Mexicans, that's fucked up. But no, but Mexicans, like if you ever meet a Mexican mother, she will treat you like she's one of your own, and she doesn't even know you. Come in and get something to eat. Hey, hang out with me, and it makes you feel good. It's a culture. It's a culture. Asian people, right? You go to a restaurant, laundromat, their family owns that. Jewish people, their families own that. All of these things are family businesses, but America sells you on being the individual. You can be the king of your mountain. You can be the king of this. You don't need fuck these niggas, fuck these hoes. You can be who you want to be by yourself when everybody else is doing it together. So by the time we figure out, oh shit, we got to do this together. Half of us are locked up, the other half are dead. You know what I mean? People are single mothers are out here running around because it's like that whole be a family thing. It's not cool because it's not being sold as cool. And then you have Aisha saying like, hey, well, I have a family and I'm sad. Well, then fuck. Well, then I guess we're just going to go do it. But that's what I mean about up here. So up here, so you and I can have this conversation because we can see it. But if you're in it, if people are in it, they can't see what we're saying. They're just in it. So if they're in it, then that's what the game is. The game is the people. So when they go to a comedy show, right, your job is to put a little bit of that in there. Just a little bit to get them thinking, and if you get them enough, then they're going to be like, oh, I want to go see more of this. Oh, yeah. I want to go. So earlier when you're like, oh, like, cause I didn't notice that, how you're saying like, oh yeah, people think this guy's going to be funny. I never feel that. I always feel like, all right, have fun, because this could go either way. Because I know me, man. I know me, bro. Like I've bombed so much that I enjoy doing it now. Like, you know what I mean? Like if my shit's not working, that means I bit off more than I could chew, and what I thought was gonna work isn't working, and fuck it. Everybody's going down with it. Like, you know what I mean? I don't give a fuck.
You know, I've been there. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fuck it. This is what we're doing today. But then if I can get them and I'm like, yeah, I got it. Because it goes back to where it's like the difference between, do you want to say something funny or do you want to say what you want to say and make it funny? And if you can do the latter of that, if you could say what you want to say and you can make it funny, then you have something. And then once you see what that thing is, that's when the game starts, you know? Bro, we've been here this whole time.
Yeah, this is great.
You know, and we even get to talk about comic books yet, yeah, bro?
So that is one more thing I wanted to touch on before we wrap up. I guess, so I know you read a lot of comics too.
Yeah.
And I know that, just from conversations we've had at shows and such. There's a lot I have questions about, but like, so for
ask all of them, man. So this is what I wanted to talk about, and then I was like, I can't wait to hang out with the homie and actually get to talk about comic books. What? And then we get into talking.
So, because right now comics are they're more popular than they've ever been. Obviously, a huge part of that is because of the explosion of the movies. Pretty much, I would say from like 2008 to 2019 is the huge explosion. We're kind of experiencing superhero fatigue right now. But as far as the actual comic books go, what do you decide to pay attention to? There's so much to read. There's so much to get into. What do you choose to pay attention to?
That's a great question. Holy shit, that's a cool. I was like trying to figure out where it was gonna go, and then I was like, wow, that's a fucking. So, I guess I got lucky in the fact that I've always been kind of weird. So like I've always wanted to go for like the indies first, like, you know what I mean. So like Scott Snyder and Sean Phillips and I'm blanking on it. Sean Murphy and people like that, and Ed Brubaker and all those dudes. Like when I really got in, because their shit was different, you know. But at the same time, I also like the superhero shit, like my like Transformers and like Hulk and Shazam and Batman. Batman is like he's king for a reason. Like those shit, some of those books are good, man. Like so like for me though, comic books are like my happy place, but I really pay attention to the writing. So like the writing and the art. The art had like Wes Craig he's another great artist. Like I pay attention to, so it's not necessarily
So you go off of name recognition when you look at a book.
It's name recognition, but it's also like just a feel. Okay, perfect example actually of so Doom, right? And this actually goes back to everything we're talking about with like the with the comics, going the corporate way or going to the like with art and all that. Like it was the illest thing that so they put out a Doctor Doom one shot, right? And I saw it. And I was like, well, this looks cool. But it's like, because Doctor Doom, like, just based off the character himself, he's not even necessarily a villain. Like, I don't even know what to call him. He's just
he's a pretty bad dude.
But he's like I don't know, he's a mad genius.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, he's a bad dude because you're not on his side, but he's also very smart and deliberate with everything that he does. And they put out this one shot called, and I think it was like 2 years ago, and the art was fucking ill, but basically what it was he was like he was on some spaceship, the Galactus comes and he destroys Earth. All the Avengers, all of the Avengers and everybody tried to fight Galactus. Galactus is like, dude, I'm Galactus. And he smokes everybody. So now it's just Doom floating on the spaceship because he had a contingency plan for it. You know what I mean? So he's floating on the spaceship and then he ends so it ends with him having like to face inevitability. That was what the whole book was about. The whole book was about you can be the smartest person in the world, but at the end of the day, the inevitable will always be the inevitable. But the art was done by Sanford Green, who also does Bitterroot. I didn't know that I just read the book because, all right, Doom's a cool dude. This art is fucking dope. So then I read the art. I'm like, I don't even know who that is. And then Bitterroot came out, and I try to support like black creatives in anything, like if it's a black comic book or black whatever, because there's not enough black people in the space already. So I try to support it. But then when it's dope, like when it's really good, it makes me happy because it's like, holy shit, yes. Do that shit. Do that. But then when I realized, like, oh shit, Bitterroot, the artist in Bitterroot is the same artist in Doom, and then I'm like, so that's how name right. Yeah. So I go off of one, does it look cool? Two, like, and sometimes it's covered, but sometimes I've been smoked on cover. Like I got this Wolverine one time, and like, but the interiors look like he had autism. Bro, it was. Yeah,
I've been there before.
And the writing was so bad. Like, because good comic book writing is the same as good joke telling. It's the same as everything. Yeah. It's subtext. So, in comedy and anything, subtext. What we're saying isn't actually what we're saying.
Do you think good art can save a bad written book?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. But if like bad art is paired with even a above average script, it's hard to get through.
And that's the thing, man. It's like, and the art doesn't even, and I guess that's what it is when it comes to art. Art doesn't even have to be, because there's so many different weird artists out there, but it's like good art. Jeff Lemire is one of those.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
You know, he's like a weird artist, but his style works for the book he's trying to write. For the what's the one? There's one that's it's like about an astronaut and like a soldier, and they meet in time. Like I can't think of it, but it's a Jeff Lemire book, and the way he draws, the way it works for how he does it. Sean Phillips and Ed Brubaker, they're two who do like these crime noir things.
I have a few of their stuff out there. They've been on a tear pretty much since Killer Be Killed came out. Like they've just been. Have you read Killer Be Killed?
I've read the first volume of Killer Be Killed, so I was there for was it Fatale Fatale? However you say it, Fatal was the one, but there was the Fade Out. The Fade Out was what got me on there. I was
that shit's really good. I got the 3 volumes of Criminal. Those are really good.
I got the first one of Criminal. Yeah,
really good. And then they do their Western one called Pulp. That one's really good too.
I think I have like issue 1 of Pulp, and then and that's the thing. There's so many comic books, and they're so expensive now. And that's the fucked up. That's the fucked up part, because like comic books are popular now because all the kids growing up reading comic books, they're us now, so we can afford to get them. But it's the same.
Theory,
yeah, but it's the same with like Pokemon cards and shit like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was driving my nephew on his birthday, right, and I picked him up late, so it was like 8:00 at night. We go to Target so I can get him like a toy and something. And right next to the Target, there's like the GameStop. And there's like this big ass line around the corner. And my nephew's 10. He just turned 10, right? So we're driving the car and we see this big ass line around the corner for GameStop. And I'm a curious dude. So I rolled the window down and I was like, hey, ask him what's going on. And he goes, hey, what's going on over here? And the dude's like, Pokemon cards. We're like, cool. And then we roll the window up. And my nephew, 10 years old, goes, bunch of grown ass people waiting for Pokemon cards. But it's true because he's supposed to be the one enjoying it.
Yeah.
We got to enjoy it
because that's why. Like, I mean, I'm sure you've seen it, specifically with Pokemon cards, where just collectors will show up and get baskets of fucking cards, and there's nothing left for the kids. And it's like, well, I get it. Like you said earlier, like the kids that grew up with it are now in their late 20s, into their 30s, into their 40s, and they're now able to go out and get it on their own volition. But then there's this, and they get it for themselves, and they get doubles and triples of it, so they could turn around in the aftermarket and sell it off and make a profit off of it. Where it's like, okay, I know that you can do that, I understand that, but should you? You know, like that takes away from the fun of it.
Yeah, it's a fucking it's art, it's fun, it's game. You took all the fun out of it and you made it corporate America. We do this so we don't have to be in corporate America, and you're corporate America-ing the thing.
Or you're corporate America-ing the already corporate thing. Like it's already from these big billion-dollar brands. We understand that, but they've also become these sub-niche things that people enjoy, but then also people are exploiting that. Like during COVID. Like COVID is when I really started getting into collecting. I got into collecting omnibuses, and I got into collecting like statues and all that.
Okay.
And the statues were a short-lived hobby because they were already expensive back then. But I was like, well, the website that I get them through have like payment plans and stuff like that, so it's easier. So I'm not dropping $500 at a time, $600 at a time, whatever. But now, I mean, it's like they sell out instantly, and then they go in the aftermarket for double or even triple what the retail was. Damn. And it's like, well, it's like, all right. Like when, for instance, they, like one of my favorite runs of all time is the Ultimate Spider-Man from Bendis. Okay. And so when I heard they were putting those out in omnibus format, I was like, I already have most of the trades, but I'm going to get these in the big collective form. I love this run, whatever. So I would pre-order it when they came out and get them online for like maybe 55 or 60% of the retail price. It's a pre-order, whatever, cool. But then these books go out of stock, and they go out of print so quickly that, like, if you like watch, so if you go onto like eBay, and then like I guarantee this one's out. I think it's out of print. So if you look up, let's see, there it is. So Ultimate Spider-Man Omnibus, yeah, perfect example. Volume 4 aftermarket is $150. Volumes 1 through 4 as a lot together, $625. Volume 2's been out of print for years. $360 for a book, bro. And it's like, I get it. Like, if you're able to flip it, I guess, but it's like, you're taking the magic out of it. The collector side of this hobby is just so vicious. Yeah, and it's like, all right, well.
And that's the part they don't think of. It's like you can't take any of this shit with you when you die. And if the kids don't get into it, then but the kids like the movies. You see what I'm saying? So the kids watch the movies and then they want to go and get the books. But they go get the books and
they're
they can't.
So fucking expensive.
You know, they're expensive. So now you give them a 20 or you give them a 10 and they can only get 2 books. Or they can only get, and depending on the new variant ratio or whatever the fuck, they can only get 1 book.
I was going to say with that new Deadpool Batman that came out, I think, last week. It was $8.99.
Yeah, you're robbing people, and then you have all these covers. So now people want to get all the covers, and it's like, but what about the kid who wants to read? Like, my favorite part about my comic book collection is that, like, if I don't have kids, I'm just gonna give them to my nephews. Hopefully, like right, and like they're gonna find some ill shit in there, like, you know, and whatever they do with it, whatever they do with it. But at least they have the option of like they get to read it, because I love comic books for the fact of how it makes you feel, how it makes you think. You open it, it's exciting. It's like, what? Absolute Batman is it's nuts.
It's insane.
It's like straight up nuts, but you open, you go, what is going on in here? And that feeling, that's what comic books are supposed to be. This dude was talking, like, he was like showing off his comic book collection. He's like an artist. I like to, like, when I'm drawing or something, sometimes I'll just look at artists and think of how like other artists are talking, because I don't know, like it's sometimes you get so far into it where you start to go crazy. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like you want to see other people. All right, well, how do they deal with this? And it's like, oh, okay, no, I'm just crazy. And he was going, so he's going through his comic book collection. He goes, yeah, I should be wearing gloves, but I'm not going to, because they're meant to be enjoyed. And that simple thing is like, yeah, you're supposed to enjoy this. If you like, okay, all the people who have like toys, right? Like, I was talking about this at the shop the other day, actually. I was like, all the people who have like toys, like those old collector, the mint condition, like it never been out of the package. They have them and they're worth like millions of dollars or thousands of dollars or whatever. But if you think about the type of kid that had to be to not play with his toys, you fucking dork. What are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I'm the same way. Like I'll get stuff like this and I'll take it out because I know for a fact that I'm not gonna ever sell it, and I like having them displayed and I like doing all that kind of stuff. But I do have a couple of figures that are never gonna leave the box. Because I know for a fact I have no, like for instance, I have on my wall in my living room, I'll show you when we finish up, I have a Michael Myers that's in its package. And I know how much it goes for in the retail.
Yeah.
Or in the retail, in the aftermarket. Like I could sell that right now for probably like $300. But I'm never going to because I love the franchise and I love how it looks. But I'm also like, well, I got this little guy that I get to display and I like that. And I was going to, because they had that horror convention. Couple months ago, and I got a comic book signed by the guy who plays Michael Myers. Oh my god, I hate that it's escaping me right now. Nick Castle. I got it signed by him. I was gonna have that signed too, but they're doing cash only. But like, I like having that in the package just because I like how it's displayed that way, and that's just for me.
Yeah.
But like, 90% of my stuff I know that I'm never gonna get rid of. So out the package it goes. Displayed it will be, and we have a good time with it.
Yeah, you get to play with your toys, bro.
Yeah.
And then one day when you have your little one running around, they're gonna break one of them, and at first you're gonna be like, "What the fuck?" And then you're gonna remember, like, "Oh shit, yeah, this is."
Right.
Have you ever read Multiversity?
No, I know I need to.
Bro.
I know that I need to, but that is one of those things that I know I need to pick it up. And it's like reading those, like, it's funny you bring up that because I just picked up the 4 issues of the new history of DC.
Yeah, okay.
And that's like taking a class. Like, you got to sit down and like, I'm obviously intensive when I read anyway, but you really have to like, okay, so that connects to this, so flip back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, well, that's the.
Because Grant Morrison did Multiversity, right? Or was it Jeff Johns?
No, it wasn't Jeff Johns, so it might have been Grant Morrison. Yeah, but it was Grant Morrison because it's so fucking meta. That
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
What? He's a great writer, a great author, but Jesus.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, sometimes like when they hit like meta, like when meta hit, okay, when it hits, I'll never forget, man. Oh, Max Fitzpatrick. I haven't seen him in forever. I don't even know where he's at, man. But like we used to do open mic. So back in the day, like there was no comedy clubs and shit. Like the open mics were the shows and shit. And I remember we were at Back Alley. And he did this set, and it was like 5 minutes, but he did this meta set that was like, he was like analyzing the room from his perspective of him being on stage, like, but he did it so well, people were crying, like, he's killing, and this is an open mic, right? So when meta is done right, it's amazing, and meta and Multiversity, when you're in it, like, because every issue is its own thing, but it all kind of connects, but it's really just... When you read, you gotta read it, man, because you see the topics that they're addressing, and I guess that's what I'm getting at with comedy and shit like that. It's like you can do it, you can do everything you're trying to do, but who it's gonna get to, you have no control over. So like the Multiversity, I brought it up because we were talking about the kids, right? Like there's this one where the basically the kid shoots the dad because he wants to be a hero, and he finds his dad's gun, so he doesn't know it. So it's like a, hey, dad, bang, right? So he shoots the dad, but he doesn't realize the dad was the superhero the whole time, and it was really just like the dad being the artist drawing the comic book, and then he had a gun. Yeah, so the dad was the artist who drew the comic book that the kid was reading.
That sounds like Grant Morrison.
Yeah, so the kid reads the comic book and wants to be the hero in the comic book, finds his dad's gun, shoots the dad who drew the... You see what I'm saying? Like how it goes in, and that's where... But yeah, no, like, what are your favorite comics? Like
right now, right? So I'm reading Absolute Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman.
Have you read Martian Manhunter? The Absolute Martian Manhunter?
I just got the first issue of that, and I'm waiting for the first 2 trades to come out so I can buy those, because that was phenomenal.
That shit is tight.
I really enjoyed that. So I'm reading those 3, which I really enjoy. the newer Ultimate Spider-Man. I've been reading that since it came out. That's been fucking phenomenal.
That honestly, Ultimate Spider, because I'm not like a big, so I didn't get it from the beginning.
Yeah.
I got run. Some of those have been duds, man. But some
Really?
Okay. There's one where it's fucking because Ben's alive, like Uncle Ben's alive, right? So him and Jay Jonah or whatever, and
Have
they're
their
just
company, yeah.
and they're just but they're like the whole episode is just the whole issue is just them talking, like they're just fucking on a fucking bro man's date.
I've been enjoying all of it. I also really love Jonathan Hickman as a writer. He's one of my favorite authors of comic books, period.
I think did he write Imperial?
I don't know.
It's got to be because he's like one of those like heady, like
it's very dense. Like it's like especially his stuff with like Fantastic Four and the Avengers. It's very, very like there's a lot in there. But I love his understanding of the Spider-Man world.
I got you.
But like the stuff with like the Council of Mysterio. How far into it are you? I don't want to spoil anything.
You could spoil. Look, dog. Because I picked up random again for Ultimate Spider-Man. Since I was never a big Spider-Man fan, I would just pick up the covers that I wanted. Okay. Because Spider-Man was Batman. My God, Spider-Man.
Okay, so I still don't want to. I think you should read the whole thing. It's really because they do a really unique thing with Mysterio and the Green Goblin.
There's like multiple Mysterios, right?
There's like a council of Mysterios, and then they show who's really running it and a part of it. And then I really like the way that they're handling all of that. And I read the first like 2 or 3 issues of the new run they're doing for the Ultimates, because like the Ultimates they did back in the day was not very good. Mark Millar is a very strange guy. But the newer version of it, I read the first couple issues of that, and I want to get the trades of that because that was really good. And I'm curious to see how they're going to... It sucks that they're ending it in the first place just because it's so good. But they're going to culminate it all into...
The Ultimate Endgame, right?
Yeah, Ultimate Endgame with like the Maker and all that. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man's great. I've been reading that. And then like... I'm behind on it, but I want to... I read the first few issues of Jason Aaron's... Ninja Turtles. That's not bad.
That's tight. That one's tight. Yeah,
that one's pretty good. But I've heard great things about the current Transformers.
That shit is good.
And I want to get because I love Image. I collect not a lot of Image, but the Image that I do collect, I get their hardbacks.
Yeah, those are beautiful.
I love how those look on a shelf.
Yeah, those are beautiful. So,
and they're selling like the hardback of Transformers on Amazon for like $20. So I want to get that and read that. I heard G.I. Joe's amazing, so I want to get into that. And then I recently talk about Image. I read the first, I need to get the second one, but I read the first Image hardcover of Gideon Falls. And that was a lot of fun.
I have Gideon Falls somewhere. Like I just have it in my collection.
I had it for like a year, dude, and I just never touched it. Read it in a night.
Damn.
Phenomenal.
It's
trippy, but it's phenomenal.
I like speaking of trippy, what the fuck was it? Damn, I had one. Do you ever like? Do you just read them, or do you like get high read them?
I don't smoke too much anymore, mainly because I've just been too lazy to get to the dispensary, and also when I lost my I used to have a local dispensary, and they're great. Still love them. High Desert Relief, they're awesome. But they used to sponsor the show, and so they would give me like a goodie box of stuff. And they would give me, like, 'cause I don't smoke very much. Like, even when I did smoke, I would smoke like a little bit before bed or whatever. But they would give me, and it would last me like 6 fucking months. And like, oh, most of our guys will do this in like a month. It's like, nope, this will last me a long time. So I used to smoke and read comics, but these days, not too much.
Fair enough. But so you know how like sometimes when I like doing it with like if it's supposed to be a scary comic, all right. And then like get the terror from it, or get the like. Oh yeah, some books are scary, man. Like some and some are real. Like Are you a DC guy? It seems like you're more of a Marvel guy.
I love them both, honestly. Like, truly, like it was funny. Last weekend, I was looking at my shelf, and I think I have maybe of the omnibuses, I have like 2 or 3 more on the Marvel side, but unintentionally it's split down the middle.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I love them both. Yeah.
That's even keel.
And I started reading Mortal. It's called the Mortal Thor.
Yeah,
And
where he's
that's
just a regular dude and he's just beating the shit out of people.
Yeah, that one's really good too.
I see. Okay, so to your point of what you grab.
Sorry, Chip Zdarsky's Captain America right now is fucking amazing.
See, so I have Captain America, but I haven't read it yet. But again, like some of those covers are dope. So I have the whole. Like I think they're up to what, 4 or 5.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So I have them, and I just haven't read them yet. But the Mortal Thor, because Alex Ross. But Alex Ross, so back in the day, you go to Noble, Noble isn't what it is now. It wasn't.
Now it's just like it's basically, at least in my opinion, it's a thrift store for collectibles, but it's mainly like a card game.
Yeah, exactly. Place. And that's what. And back in the day, it was like a cool ass, dark, But I used to flip. You know how you flip through the posters to see.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of Alex Ross posters. I didn't know it was Alex Ross at the time. I just knew it was those were sick. Like all the superheroes that he's doing now on this cover. Those are all posters you could just go get. I didn't know you could just. I didn't know who it was. I was a kid. The only reason I would go to Noble is because I would steal kids' Pokemon cards. And I would go to Noble and I would sell them so I can go get Pop-Tarts from Target. You know what I mean?
On the west side?
Yeah. You see what I mean? So that's why it's so crazy to me that all the shit, because you think back now, that shit's worth money. And I'm like,
well, have you gone on to, if you haven't, you really should. Alex Ross sells his art from his website. Dude, he's got pieces on there that are $20,000.
Because he can get it now. Bro, this is what I'm learning about the game. If you can get it, you can get it. It's fucked up, bro.
If I had fuck you money, some real, fuck you money, my whole thing is not a big house. I'd like a nice sized house just to have a family in and whatever. Yeah. It would be wall to wall with that dude's art.
Because it's beautiful, right?
Because when people ask my favorite or I get into conversations about the best comic book artists, I kind of just accept Alex Ross's number one, and then you start the list.
Yeah, okay, wait a minute. So you have a whole list. Okay,
I have my top 3.
Okay, let's hear it.
For me, I don't know. I accept Alex Ross's number one, and then Stan Lee is not in the list, but he's...
You mean Jack Kirby?
Or sorry, I think... Yeah. I don't know why I said Stan Lee. Jack Kirby is up there just because, he's the blueprint. Jack Kirby is why everything is the way it is on both sides. I wish he had did more for DC, because all the stuff that he did with the Fourth World is just so good.
Have you read the New Gods?
No, I haven't. I've heard it's good. Yeah, I've heard it's good.
Oh, bro,
because they started that 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, but I think they're taking a break or some shit, and it'll be back because they just ended it. But the second to last one, so it started a year ago because they're up to 12 issues.
Okay,
so issue number 11, bro, that is a continue. Go ahead.
I've heard it's great, so I'm glad that more people are co-signing it.
Yeah, it's tight.
I really love us. Yeah. Ross and Jack Kirby are up there. I love Dan. Modern wise, I think Dan Mora is fucking amazing.
He's perfect though. I don't like perfect. He's fucking dope.
Because he's the guy that did Tom Taylor's Nightwing, right?
Yeah, I don't read Nightwing, but yeah,
but that art is just amazing to me. I really like. Is it? The guy who did Jeff Lemire's up there. I love Jeff. He's in my top 3. I like Jeff Lemire a lot. Especially I got into him because of his run on Green Arrow and New 52. I really loved that because the New 52 Green Arrow for the first 12 issues was kind of middling, but then a whole new creative team took over. I forget who wrote it, but Jeff Lemire was the artist on that.
I didn't know he did. I thought he just did his own shit until just recently.
Yeah, no, it's phenomenal, dude.
Okay.
It's really good. And then, oh man, it's not Kurt Busiek. It's the guy who did Joe Quesada's Wonder Woman. I have it out there.
Mark Waid?
No. Mark Waid's great too. Fuck, man. Well, he's the
writer.
He's the writer, but yeah, he's really good.
He did something. Mark Waid is on something. I'm thinking of who works with him a lot. Yeah, it's probably Dan Mora. I'm probably thinking of, but
yeah, they do a lot together. But the guy who did the art for Wonder Woman in the '80s with Joe Quesada, his art is just so packed in, and there's just so much going on, and I like his work a lot. But yeah, those are probably up there. But like, I don't know. I don't think that I think he gets credit obviously, but like really looking at his stuff, like if you look at his Fantastic Four, his Spider-Man, his Captain America, and then you see even like the modern Captain America, you just see the continuing echoes of his work.
Yeah.
Like if I were to put art on a wall, it would be Alex Ross. If it's art that I'm going to read, it's Kirby, and then from there. You know, does that make sense? You know what I mean? Yeah, that's...
See, I will like the Jack Kirby thing, man. Like, I feel like a lot of times, though, you really got to read comics to understand how great it was, because it's the same as like going up on stage and just chilling, and you can just talk, right? Yeah. That's what he was doing. Think about it. He's just sitting in some fucking room, just making this shit up. Like, I use references now. You know what I mean? A lot of artists, you have to use reference, and Jack Kirby is their reference, you know, and he's just making shit up. That's a gangster thing to do, like, you know? So, like, yeah, he's tight. But, like, I don't know, man. Like, how do you feel? Have you, Wes Craig? Do you know Wes Craig?
I don't.
Have you read, like, Kaya or, like, Deadly Class or anything like that?
I know about Deadly Class, but I haven't read it.
See, I like that kind of, or like that, whoever did Martian Manhunter, that kind of style of, like, minimalism where it's
yeah.
That type of shit gets me because I can't do it. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know how to pull back. So people who can pull back and people who know how to add just enough. Or Stanford Green is tight. Stanford Green is super dope. Like, his shit is Have you heard of Sean Murphy?
Yes.
He did like Punk Rock Jesus, and then he did like
I feel like I have something by Sean Murphy on my shelf.
Could be like Batman White Knight. He did that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the White Knight stuff. Yeah, I haven't read all of it, but yeah.
That meticulous kind of that shit is good. But then at the same time, like I said, Sean Phillips, like the Ed Brubaker, like how his shit is like inky and like really like, you know, and it's kind of like implied. That shit's good. The dude who did the Serious House, the Arkham.
Yeah, Arkham Asylum, A Serious House on a Serious Earth.
Yeah. Apparently, that dude was like painting on like boards and shit like that. Like he was just doing it on whatever.
I really want to get the absolute version, like the oversized version of that book. Like that's a gorgeous book.
You know what makes me sad though is Jim Lee. His shit is so fucking good, and then like
Jim Lee. How did I not? Yeah, he's phenomenal.
But then like but that's when I learned like, oh shit, there's like a whole process to comics, because his pencils are dope, his inks are dope, and then if somebody colors him wrong, it's like,
he's one of the rare guys that can do all of it.
Yeah,
he's one of the rare dudes that can do every part of that equation. Because that's a really good point that not a lot of people know about, is because there's usually like a team of 5 for a book. You've got the writer, you got the writer, the colorist, the inker, the penciler, and then the dude who actually, I forget the name for it, but the guy who does the word bubbles and the actual text. There's a whole team that goes into
letterer?
The letterer. Thank you. The letterer. So when you see a book that only has like 2 names on it, and it's truly like, you go to the actual credits and it's truly like 2, maybe 3 names, that is a incredible amount of work.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude,
I'm experiencing it right now. I'm like, this shit is difficult. Holy shit.
Yeah, Jim Lee is, he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. And that's why I wish, like, talk about something I wish I could put on a wall. I wish I could get, even if they were prints, obviously the originals would be nuts, but if I even just get prints of Zack Snyder's storyboards for what would have been Justice League 2 and 3, because Jim Lee did the art for that. I wish I could get that framed on a wall, because there's like images of it where it was like the Nightmare universe, and then Superman working for Darkseid, and then Darkseid booming into the Batcave. I would love to be able to get all of that, framed on a wall.
I mean, well, you put that out into the, well, I guess if you know about it, other people know about it too, but you already put it out into the ether, man. You just keep doing what you're doing. You're probably going to run into this. Like, that's the thing. None of this shit is as far away as we think now. Like, Jim Lee's in California. You probably just go run into that guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
because have you seen those before? Those storyboards?
No, I've never seen them. It sounds amazing.
Quick. Zack Snyder Justice League.
The Justice League was that's the thing, man, because people were talking shit about like Batman, Superman, Dawn of Justice, right? But I hadn't seen it, and so I thought that Justice League was that, and I was like, what are they talking about? This is amazing. And then I realized they're 2 different movies.
Yeah, so here's a part of it. So that
Okay. Wait. No, they put some of. Oh, well, some of that was in the one of those.
They filmed it for like the newer 4-hour version, but
Yeah.
like that, and it's cool because leading up to the release of the 4-hour movie, they had a whole museum in Los Angeles with these there,
See,
like the original
and
prints.
that adds to the experience of it.
Yeah. So then like that shit,
oh yeah, that's fire.
like being able to get stuff like that framed.
That's fire. Yeah.
And like there's the Mira carrying the buckets of water so she could stay alive, and then they're in their hideout.
That's like some museum, like scholarly level shit when it comes to art. You know what I mean? Like that's like doing that next thing. Like,
yeah, I would love to get that type of stuff. But yeah, Jim Lee's on a level of his own. It is unfortunate. Are you keeping up with Hush 2?
bro.
It's so bad.
I thought you were just gonna leave that one alone, man. That's
so bad.
I tried to say it nicely, man. I will say this: when they came back, the more recent one, they just dropped the.
I haven't read the last issue. I have it out there.
So that's what I'm saying. The last issue, it's like okay, you can tell he was listening to what people were saying because those first ones, whoo, boy, they hot garbage.
Well, because they planned it to be a 12-issue arc and they ended it 5 issues in.
Because it was because they were like, wait, see, this is. This is a lesson, though. A lesson, and never rest on your laurels, man. You always got it, because somebody's always going to be outworking you, right? So if you're like, oh, I'm the god, okay.
But that was just self-sabotage. Now, granted, it's Jeff Loeb, and he's a great author, but this is also the guy that wrote Ultimatum. And,
I've never even read that.
Oh, dude, it's the Marvel event that was towards the end of the original Ultimate Universe in the 2000s into like 2011, where like the big earthquake hits New York, and
oh shit!
If you don't want to read it, you don't need to because it's not good. It's bad.
When I hate these fucking Marvel events. They're not good.
Yeah,
because they don't. They're like they're obvious money grabs, but like.
But it's
fucking give me something. You know what I mean? Like,
but what kills me is at the same time that Hush 2 is coming out, Jeff Loeb is also writing Batman: The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween, and that just finished up.
Yeah,
that was amazing. That was a great story. Like that story was so good that I'm probably gonna pick that up again when it comes out as a hardcover, because that was really good. And they just finished doing, as a side note, but they just finished doing Batman and Robin Year One.
Oh, that I have that. Whoever did the art in that, Chris Samney. That's what I was thinking. Yeah,
amazing. So I'd love to get that as a hardcover too. But my point is like everyone has their duds, and Hush 2 was, or is, I guess was, it just ended, astonishingly bad.
Yeah, it was.
Why would you do that to Jason Todd's character? Why would you do that to Batman? Where I get that Batman has a moral inclination to save every life, but like taking Joker to the Batcave and then like the fight between Jason and Batman made
bro. Oh no, look, so I got the, what's fucked up though is I got the Ashcan edition first for the first one, and I got, because you know how so I just got it and I was like, this looks sick. Then I got number 1, and I got the glow in the dark one, and then I got the fucking regular one. I was like, oh, this is about to hit. Then I opened it like.
Yep, I got like 3 or 4 variants, and I got the oversized comic. Put it in
the one that they fucking
one. Yeah, I got that. I put it in a frame because I was like, "This is a great cover. This is gonna be a great
It's
book.
an investment." And then, and then you have shit like when Martian Manhunter is not even supposed to go for. It's just supposed to be a 6-issue miniseries, and you're like.
Well, that was
they're fucking smacking this.
That was the whole Absolute Universe. Is I remember like when I put it on my pull list, I asked one of the guys that works at I get my pull list at Comic Warehouse.
Okay.
And so I asked the guys
shout out to Comic Book Warehouse.
Yeah.
They're dope over there.
They're the shit. Yeah, Scott and Eric, they're awesome. And so I asked,
and Mary and Kermit, they're all dope. Like I'm just saying, like they're the sweetest. They're dope. So and shout out to everybody else too, like Twin Sons and Age of Comics. They're all dope. But
yeah.
Go ahead.
So I asked Scott, I was like, hey, how long is this Absolute Batman thing going on? He's it's just gonna be like a 5 or 6 miniseries. This is like an alternate universe. It's like Ultimate Marvel, but for DC. And I was like, okay, sick. And I remember getting 3 issues into it, like, oh, this ain't stopping anytime soon. No, this is insane. And then that's just from a business standpoint. That's what I don't understand about Marvel, because DC they're killing it so hard with the Absolute Universe. Have you read DCKO?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have read that. Okay. Yeah. They're killing it so hard with Absolute that they're bringing the Absolute Universe into the mainline story.
Yeah.
And then Marvel over here is doing great with their Ultimate Universe. They're also experiencing the highest issue sales they've had in years, but they're ending it in December.
Because they don't get it. They don't. But at the same time, man, I will say this: Marvel doesn't care because Marvel is Disney. You see what I'm saying?
But does Disney? I don't know if you know the answer to this, but like I don't even know how much influence or like real oversight and decision making Disney has on the comics.
Have you ever tried to watch any of these Marvel Disney shit?
Okay, right.
Like they got some influence over.
But the projects, like the TV shows and the movies, are separate from the books. I'm just saying, how much influence do they have over the books?
Oh yeah, honestly, I feel like it depends because Ultimate Wolverine, they fucking snuck that one in there. That shit is badass.
Is it good?
So the first few, he's not even talking. He's just doing some gangster shit. Like
that's cool
because they turn him into the doing.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
they basically make him the Winter Soldier.
Oh,
right. So
interesting.
And so he's not even. He has a mask on. He's not even talking. He's just like hunt, seek, destroy. All right, we got it. Next, like
nice.
and it's ill. And then like they have one like the Ultimate Archangel. The way he looks in there, it's fucking nuts. Like so that would be the closest I would say to what. But Absolute is DC is cohesive. It's like everybody had a board meeting and they said, look, this is what we're gonna. Whereas Marvel is just like, here's the story. Like nobody talks to anybody over there.
Marvel did for the movies is what DC's doing to their comics.
Yeah.
And then what DC did to their movies is what Marvel's doing to their comics.
Yeah, it's just like, damn, y'all can't get it right. But DC, I guess, but Warner Brothers doesn't know how to make. Warner Brothers is good at making studio movies that aren't like that. I don't know how to say this. I watch a lot of those old film noir movies. So Warner Brothers back in the day, MGM back in the day, those movies are fucking great. But they were built for that. So they never really broke that. That they just don't know how to break out of that and try this.
They don't know how to listen to creatives.
There you go. They don't. They're just like, this is what we got. This is how we know how it's gonna work. And it's like, no, you don't.
The fact that Marvel like decision making wise, I just think back to this is like 2013, 2012 ish. Yeah, when Marvel was making the first Ant-Man movie. Okay. And Kevin Feige is fully in his position. He's calling all the shots. He has the vision for what this first 10 years of Marvel is going to be. They hire Edgar Wright, one of the best modern filmmakers around, and they hire him to make Ant-Man. And Kevin Feige ends up parting ways with Edgar Wright, not because of the quality of the movie, but or his idea rather, because they didn't shoot the movie yet. Not because of the quality of his ideas, but because his idea would not fit into the larger tapestry of the Marvel Universe. He was willing to take that risk because he was so sure in the team he was building and the vision he was building that he would let go of Edgar Wright, which is insane because Edgar Wright's crazy. Do you know who Edgar Wright is?
No.
So he did like Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, The World's End, Baby Driver.
Yeah.
He did those movies. He did Scott Pilgrim. So that he was willing to let go of that guy to make sure that the Marvel vision that he had stays intact.
Damn.
Now, whatever that type of vision is gone now, clearly. But they just don't have that for the books. Yeah. And it kills me because like they had no idea what the fuck they wanted to do with Punisher. I don't know if you've read like the Punisher till it ended like 3 years ago.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So the long story short is they started great, and then this is in the era of like Marvel being embarrassed of the Punisher skull and like all the quote unquote controversies around the Punisher skull because of how these dumbass cops were taking it and whatever.
Oh yeah, with the flags and shit on it. Yeah.
So,
but you worked for Disney.
Yes. So they were like, okay, we're gonna get rid of the Punisher. So they ended that Punisher run with Frank Castle being embarrassed of the Punisher symbol. It's dumb. It was horrible. So they leave the Punisher out and they replace the Punisher with some S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, and I didn't even read that because I'm just not interested in the S.H.I.E.L.D. agent being Punisher. Now they bring back the Punisher, not in an ongoing series. They have a, like, you ever seen, like, on the shelves, they have, like, the red band, like, the cover? So they have a 5-issue miniseries that's, like, supposed to be a hyper-graphic version of the Punisher, and that one's really good, reading that. Then they have another miniseries of the Punisher. It's like a Marvel Knights or a classic Punisher, and I'm reading that. That one's really good. And they're supposed to be coming out with a crossover miniseries where it's Punisher and Daredevil. And I'm like, okay, this is fine. This is cool. I like this. But can we get an ongoing series of the Punisher?
Yeah, can we just make
Why are we embarrassed of Frank Castle? Anyone who buys that book knows who he is. Like, it's called The Punisher.
Because some of this shit needs to be A24, bro, and it's not. You know what I mean? Like, when fucking you got bought out, and then all of a sudden you had to start moving pieces around, and now all of a sudden, but that's what it was. Warner Brothers, their cartoons are good because it's like a cartoon, it gets in house, right? But then they're just pumping those out, but then their movies, it's like they can't fucking get a grasp on it, right? But
are you excited about what James Gunn is doing?
No. I didn't want to bring it up. I just because I know you're like a Superman guy.
Well, guess what? Well, no, keep going.
It's soft, and not soft in like
fair enough.
It's soft, but it's not okay. DC has this thing, man, that I love. Here's what I love about DC. It's Shazam. Shazam, I think, was a great movie, but I don't.
Yeah,
the first,
it was good.
The first Shazam was great. It made me cry, but it's also because I'm adopted. So when when the kid went to go see his adopted mom, and she was like a piece of shit, and he's like, "Oh damn, I actually," that one hit me. But if you that's one of those. If you watch it and you really get what's going on, it's like, oh shit, this shit is intense, right? But the second one, whatever, because it's
I never saw the second one. I heard horrible things about it.
Yeah, it wasn't. But because the one of the first like Shazam that I got to read was the 7 Deadly Sins. So to see it on that, I'm like, hell yeah, right? But then so DC does this thing, right, where they understand what the world is. They know what the world is. That's why we're bringing you superheroes. We're bringing you this place where you can escape, and you know that it's superheroes. You know that it's kind of what, but at the same time, we're gonna give you something. We're gonna tell you something. James Gunn is he's the safe guy. He's the everybody can party. He's like, there's no real risk, I guess is what it is. It's like Superman was a great movie, but it wasn't. What was the. You know what I mean?
There was I thoroughly enjoyed the Superman movie, but if I had to put that against Man of Steel,
because Man of Steel had more grit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I guess that's what it was all these movies that actually had something in it weren't doing well.
I will say this though too, if Man of Steel, and I'll die on this hill, if Man of Steel came out now, like if they were doing Zack Snyder stuff now, billion-dollar movies, left and right.
Because look at Absolute Superman, look at Absolute Batman. That's what's happening right now. And people are you know what I mean?
But at the time, all people were concerned with was comparing it to Marvel, regardless of the money that was coming in. Critics were comparing it to Marvel. I wouldn't even say people. Critics were comparing it to Marvel, and they're like, "Oh, it's not the Marvel, the family fun, whatever, the cohesive universe, whatever." And then the Disney executives looked at that and like, oh, well, we need to chase Marvel. We need to get to Justice League. We need to get to the blah, 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 without trusting the vision that Snyder had. And like the biggest change that was clear, at least, was if you go back and watch the original trailer that came out for the 2016 Comic-Con for the Suicide Squad. Watch that trailer, and then watch the trailer that comes out for Suicide Squad after that. It is night and day difference.
I want to see it now because that sounds like
because like the first trailer, it's gritty, it's dark, it's clearly what David Ayer wanted to make, and it's in basically it's a David Ayer movie. Yeah. It's exactly what you think he's going to make. And then between that and the second trailer, Guardians of the Galaxy comes out, and it kills in the box office. And all the Warner Brothers executives are like, we need to make this like Guardians of the Galaxy. So they completely changed the movie. They cut a bunch of stuff out. They actually hired, I forget what company it was, but they hired a company that cuts together movie trailers to cut together Suicide Squad. And that's why Suicide Squad came out the way it did. And then they're shooting at the same time. They finish shooting BVS. They take a month off, and then they shoot Justice League. So back to back. And so they're re-editing, or they're giving notes to Zack Snyder while Justice League is coming out, or getting shot, while all these Marvel movies are coming out. So that's why, and then obviously he had to step down because his daughter committed suicide. So they completely butcher that. It comes out in theaters, dies. And then they're like, well, I guess we have Aquaman, and then we'll make the Shazam movie still. Shazam didn't do well in the box office, but it was received really well. Aquaman makes $1 billion, and that's more of like a lighthearted, colorful movie. So like, what the fuck do we do? And then everything gets tarnished the way it gets tarnished, and now we are where we are. But I feel the same way about the Superman movie. It was good. in my opinion, I think it was a good movie, but like I'm not excited about the rest of it.
Because James Gunn is not a comic book writer. So it's like, what are you giving me? You're not giving me anything. You're giving me okay. I think three of the most perfect comic book movies, but Blade I didn't know was a comic book movie. I just saw Blade. I never knew it was a comic book.
I don't think most people did.
Yeah, so I can't even really count that, but it's an amazing movie.
Phenomenal.
Watchmen and Sin City are both perfect.
I showed my girl Sin City for the first time like a month ago, and it blew her fucking mind.
All they did was follow the comic. They just followed the fucking comic. They had Frank Miller in there talking to him. Alan Moore's kind of a weirdo, but he did it enough to where all they changed was the ending in Watchmen, because obviously a giant squid is going to be weird. It's going to be weird. And it's going to be hard to, but the impact was still there. And not only that, it was devastating and it hit, but it was visually beautiful. It was gorgeous. I agree. You know what? They adapted the comic book to fit the screen. They didn't try to redo the whole fucking Mike Mignola when he talks about Hellboy. Yeah, and he had to kind of let it go and just let him run with Hellboy, right? And it's like sometimes you got to just trust the art, whereas like exec suits, they don't understand the process. Like for going back to jokes, I write writing a joke 100 times. They don't see the 100 times you wrote the joke. They just see the one time. So if you have a dude cooking in the kitchen and you go, I don't know how it's going to turn out. Well, fuck it. You don't know how to cook. Go away. Go away. I'm making something like the Justice League when he came back and he did it and he dropped it. That shit was beautiful. That Flash scene when he goes, tell him I did it. I was the best of the best. Like that shit, by the time you get to that part, you go, oh, yeah, this guy knows what he's doing. But then at the same time, he did that other shit on Netflix. The fucking...
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Is Zack Snyder, he's very good at what he's very good at, which is cinematography and direction. He has like his own visual language, and he knows what he likes. And I mean, and it's very strange because like he said it himself, like he loves The Dark Knight Returns and Watchmen, which if you look at those stories, those are not traditional, even though they're considered some of the best comic books ever written, which they are, but they are deconstructions of the traditional superhero archetypes that they're dealing with. So you, like you said, let the guy cook. You have to understand who you're hiring. You don't hire Zack Snyder to do a traditional Batman story. You don't hire Zack Snyder to do a traditional Superman story. So it makes perfect sense that he's going to go in with the understanding of, okay, general audiences know who Batman and Superman are. Right. They already understand that Batman doesn't kill. They understand that Superman is truth, justice, and the American way. We understand that. So what happens then if we take these characters, kind of like you were saying earlier with Socrates, right? If you can't ask the question, stop protecting the system. Yeah. You take the characters and you put them in positions that will challenge them to their absolute moral fiber. Now, what happens if your characters fail? How do you bring them back? And that's like, and look, like, I'm not going to sit here and defend the Martha scene from BVS. Not well executed. They probably needed to let that cook in the oven for about 6 more months in the writing room. Maybe figure that out. But they got at least in my opinion, if you look away from the ridiculousness of the line delivery, the whole point of that scene is that Batman is so driven by his rage of Superman existing that he has now brought himself to the point where he is Joe Chill. And if he makes his decision to kill Superman, he becomes Joe Chill, and his entire crusade was for nothing. Because when put to the test, he failed. Which is, and again, if you look at Batman as a character, that dude would have a lot of PTSD. Yeah. So if that name of his mother triggers him, and then he comes back to reality after that, it's like, oh yeah, this guy had a mom too, and I'm about to kill him. I am no better than Joe Chill if I do this. Right. So that's why, like, because the big criticism of BVS was, why is Batman using guns? Why is he killing? I agree. Like, why is he doing this? Now, if
He
you were
was
just
kind of fucking people up in that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're going to have Batman do that, there has to be a really good reason, which I think there was. I mean, he's a guy that's been Batman for 20 years now. There's an alien with laser beams coming out of his head. Yeah. He's kind of like, I'm not going to go out here like killing you like Frank Castle, but if you get in my way, sorry, you know? Yeah. So I understand that, but you have to bring him back to Batman. You have to bring him back to who we know him to be, which is what Superman would have been at the end of this saga, but obviously they're not going to do that anymore, and they're off doing whatever James Gunn is doing. But back to your original point, it's just you have to understand who you're hiring, and you have to trust the people that, because regardless of what the critics were saying, Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman were some of the highest openings that DC ever had. They were making the money. Critics were split. Fans were split, but they were split. Fans were split for Man of Steel. They were split for BVS, but it is unanimous for the 4-hour Justice League. Yeah. So it's like, if you're in goal, everyone loves, then, well, I think we got there, but oh well.
But because there's so many, it's like there's so many different ways that you have, or so many different hoops you got to jump through. Yeah. His fucking daughter had to kill herself before he could actually get away.
Which is horrible.
Yeah, you see what I mean?
Like, I don't know if you followed the story about all the executives that came out after that, but I guess they were already plotting ways to try to get Zack out of the picture so they can make the movie, and they basically used that as a way to like let him get out so they don't have to kick him out. And then they were a big note they had, which is clearly shows that they have no idea about what they were talking about. They were telling Zack throughout the shooting process that they didn't want the Cyborg storyline in their movie because they didn't want, at the center of their superhero movie, they didn't want an angry black man. That's a direct quote, allegedly, a direct quote from Jeff Johns.
Bro.
Which is crazy.
Bro, let me tell you, it gets that deep, and people don't think...
It's just bullshit, dude.
COVID, right? 2020. Everybody's inside, right? The whole shit's going down. Black Lives Matter's going down. They just got George Floyd. They just got Minneapolis. It's on fire now. They're fucking taking over police stations in Seattle. This is happening. I'm fucking whatever. What are you going to do? All right, I'm just going to put on a movie and chill. What do I want to watch? I want to watch Batman. The Dark Knight Rises. Why? Because I think it's fucking great. I think that whole trilogy is great. I think The Dark Knight... Joker, to your point, that movie was so perfect for that reason, because Joker is like, I'm going to test you in every way possible. Everything he did was on purpose. Joker was so good in that movie. You realize, like, everything he did was the wrong thing. Like, every single thing was I'm already a step ahead of you. Yeah. Which would make... But then, and then to follow it up with Bane, which is like... Bane is my guy. Like, Bane is, because he's just, you can't stop it. Like, Bane stops himself. You can't stop him. You know? So
just like Dr. Doom.
Exactly. Yeah. So at the end of this movie, right, they're in the alley, right? The cops are going to have their last stand. They're about to show down with the people. All right. And then the captain's like, all right, gentlemen, it's been an honor. Let's get down. It's time to boogie. Boom. Show cuts off. Sorry, we can't play this title at this time. You think that's on? You think that's a coincidence? When the whole world is... I'm watching...
I heard about that.
You think that's a coincidence?
Oh, yeah. I heard about that happening.
Bro, this shit is bigger than... That's what I'm telling you about comedy. This shit is bigger than what you're thinking.
I heard about that.
So you have to be able to put it where you can put it, where who you're trying to get to... You got to try and get to them however you can, but they're going to do every single thing so when it comes to executive, that's why it's like, get the fuck out of the kitchen and let me cook. So with the James Gunn thing, James Gunn, I feel like he knew that. I feel like he's like, hey, I'm just the guy. I'm just the cool guy. I'm going to play it safe. And it shows. Why is Lex Luthor a bitch in this movie? Why is he a bitch? He's Lex Luthor. He's the fucking smart. He's a gangster.
So you watch Peacemaker, right?
The people tell me I should watch it.
Great.
And
it's great.
They say it's great,
it's great. So Lex Luthor, to your point, Lex Luthor has a cameo in the second season. In that, like, 4-minute cameo, I'm watching that, and I'm like, where was this the entirety of the Superman movie? Because I agree, like, I like Nicholas Hoult for the most part as Lex Luthor, but my Lex Luthor is the Lex Luthor from the animated series.
Yeah.
Like, where is that version of Lex Luthor?
Well, that's the thing. It wasn't even his fault. It's just like if you're getting the lines, hey,
Right.
these are
No,
the
exactly.
lines. And
Right.
I wanted to be like you, Superman. We know that part. You don't have to tell us that. But the
Show
way,
it.
yeah,
Yes.
you're a fucking gangster, dude. Like, you're the smartest man in the world. You are not shook by anything because you think you can overcome anything. That's what makes you the formidable opponent for Superman, because
Yes.
you have the contingencies to deal with Superman the same way Batman does, except you don't mind if a couple people just fall. You don't give a fuck, because your end goal is world domination, whereas versus Batman's end goal, he says it's to save Gotham, but it's really just that he's just a fucking crippled. He's a maniac. He's a fucking lunatic, but he's a lunatic on the good side. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then on the other side, you have Superman, right? Who's just like bumbling, kind of, I'm all right, right? But then you have Lois Lane. Like, my favorite part, though, was when Lois was like, I knew this would never work, and he just leaves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, well, how is some regular chick gonna tell fucking Superman? Shut up, like.
I got bigger problems.
Yeah,
Like, sorry.
I'm trying to fight the world, and you're over here mad about it. And get the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
But then the whole fucking Supergirl thing. She's some drunk party girl.
Yeah, so that's I haven't read it all yet, but that is from the Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow.
Oh, see, I didn't know that either. But
Yeah, so that's from Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow by Tom King, which I've read the first issue, liked it a lot. I read it online for free. I want to get the actual hardcover of it because I've heard it's great, and that's what they're basing the movie off of. And Tom King's a great author. If you like Bane, have you read Tom King's Batman?
Nuh-uh. Which one is?
So it came out from 2017 into 2020.
Is it the New 52 Batman or?
No, so it's the Rebirth.
Oh, I haven't read Rebirth yet.
Oh no, actually, if it was Rebirth, then that was like 2018. No, 2017. Yeah, around. Anyway, point is, there's an arc in there called City of Bane, and it's fucking amazing.
Hell
It
yeah!
is
Okay.
fucking amazing. Oh god. But anyway, so with the cyborg thing, it's like they clearly have no idea what they're talking about because Cyborg.
That shit hit when it was in there.
Well, he's the heart of the movie.
Yeah.
He's the entire emotional pull of the movie. Like and obviously it's really him, Superman, and the Flash that save the world at the end of the day. But like, not only did Cyborg have to get in there and pull the boxes apart with Superman, but he had to deal with his literal manifestation of his past demons, of how he felt about his family, to save the world.
Yeah.
And to cut that out of the movie and just make it, oh no, we're going to have Superman beat up Steppenwolf and then we get to the same conclusion. Yeah, you get to the same conclusion, but you've missed the entire reason the audience cares.
Yeah.
You missed the whole point.
Yep.
Superman, wow, yes, it's important because he's strong and can help pull apart the boxes. In the order of importance of saving the world, it's like you could argue who's more important between Flash and Flash turns back time, so I guess he is more important. But like emotionally speaking, they're pretty much him and Cyborg are at the tippy top, and that would have led to the Flash movie. Where if they would have...
And that shit was dog shit. But
the original script was before... Because what happened was Cyborg... Ray Fisher is the one that came out with the quotes of Jeff Johns saying that and them threatening his career in the same way that Joss Whedon threatened Gal Gadot's. If, let's say in the world where he didn't... I think he made the right decision. But if he didn't get himself in trouble with WB, the original script for The Flash was going to be a buddy cop between him and Cyborg.
That'd have been sick.
But
that'd have been
yeah.
You know, bro.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah.
I do want to ask you though, what would you?
What time is it? Yeah, we got to wrap up here soon.
Okay, so then what would be like if you could, let's say top 3? What, like if you had a choice to write any comic book, or if you could write any comic, like you could take any character. Batman,
dude. Like, and even further from a comic, like because before I started into stand-up, I really wanted to get into filmmaking, and a part of me still wants to get into that as like a screenwriter, director type. But if I could because really what you're asking, like if I could adapt a story, I would really love to adapt a Batman story. Like, I think, because I understand it from a money-making perspective, and just because money-making from an audience paying the most money of people are going to go see it. That's why comic book movies are made. Yeah. But it always made more sense to me that because of the format of a comic book being issue based, not just in a graphic novel, because obviously, I would love a Game of Thrones level budget Batman TV show where you really get into, and you can apply this to obviously any other superhero, but like a major budget level Batman show where you get into the real like pathos and ethos of why Batman does what he does. Where you get to be on a 20-hour long journey with this Batman, where it's like you see he comes back from Nanda Parbat as basically a ninja dressed up as a bat, and then he adopts Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson starts to grow up. He runs into a kid trying to steal the tire off the Batmobile, so he meets Jason Todd. Jason Todd dies. He meets Tim Drake, and then he eventually finds out about Damian. He's meeting the Justice League. They're having to take on like Darkseid, and like, but even if you just keep it into a Batman show and you focus on just there's so much there to mine with the Bat family. I haven't seen the Penguin TV show yet. I know I need to, but like, get into stuff with like the Penguin, Two-Face, Black Mask, Victor Zsasz, like the real underbelly of Gotham, and like the Court of Owls is a great addition to the universe over 10 years ago now, Jesus. But like, really get into a lived-in world on like why Batman is Batman. I would love that. And if that model is perfected there, take that to like Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter with his background in Mars and coming to Earth and having to assimilate, and
you basically just said Justice League.
Yeah,
just do a Justice
League, build it up to Justice League, and then even on the Marvel side, like I would love to see that with the X-Men, like a real story, like basically you're talking about adapting books. Take the Chris Claremont X-Men and put that on the screen.
You don't even have to do it. You just
throw money at it and just do it. That's what I would like. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have a pick for like if you could invest like ungodly amounts of money and time?
Oh, well, see, for me, I was just thinking like making the comic book. But for me, it would be either Shazam or the New Gods is like super sick. But like, Shazam is just, he's from Philly, man. He's from Philly, like, and if you go to Philly and then you see like there's so much there, and he's an orphan. Like, imagine like a black kid from Philly that gets to be a superhero. Now, like that's I said this on the microphone, so somebody's probably gonna hear it now and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna do that," but they couldn't do it like I do it because I know, you know what I mean? Because I know what it feels like.
There is something different of having the lived experience.
You know what I mean? And there's
nuances that you know that other people will miss, and
that's the part of it. Like, so that, or like speaking of new, like the black race, the black racer in New Gods. So he's death incarnate. But he just travels. He's basically the Silver Surfer, but he's black dude. Like those types of things. Like I get real. Like, so that my whole thing is like, let me see what my comic book chops are. So then maybe if I do get the call for, hey, what project do you want to work on? I got a couple for you. You know what I mean? But if not, then I'll just figure out how to flip those into my own little worlds. But
strictly comic book, I guess if I could adapt a story, it would. It's because obviously the best example of this, I guess, is Long Halloween. But that's
amazing though.
I want a story about Batman and Harvey Dent's relationship, because I think that hasn't been mined correctly enough. Because I love the idea of two guys who have the same exact goal of how they see the law, but they go so differently about doing it, and obviously life circumstances lead them down very different paths. I would like to see that.
That's funny that you would say that. Like, from everything that we talked about to leading to this moment, it makes so much sense. But at the same time, you got to understand that you're probably going to be, you or somebody with your caliber of like, this is what I think of, because you like the way you look at politics, and because that's a political book.
Yeah.
Whether it's politics or not, because that's what I'm saying. Like, you're seeing them from the viewpoint of like, these are the two different political directions you went. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. Batman fights crime with Batman. He fights politicians with Bruce Wayne.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
And I would just love to. You're spot on, because they're both dealing with obviously the same criminals, but they're dealing with a falling apart police department. They're dealing with corrupt judges. They're dealing with corrupt attorneys, and I think the really good aspect of it too is that the reader knows, unfortunately, that at the end of the day, Harvey Dent is going to become Two-Face. But it's like, how do you build up to that? And then how do you make a story where you already know the ending? How do you make it that more tragic? And then Batman now has to deal with his best friend being one of his arch enemies, and he joined the same people that he thought they were going against. Like, he sees him paired up with Penguin and Joker and Poison Ivy, and that would be really good.
That'd be a way to do it.
And that's Long Halloween, but I think Long Halloween, for as amazing of a book that is, the back half of it, I think, focuses way too much on the entire Rogues Gallery and getting all of them involved. And the real through line to Harvey Dent is just through the wife.
Well, those were all misdirections, because it was always the wife.
Right, exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So
but just keeping it on Harvey Dent and Bruce's, that would be really good.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I would like that.
Hell yeah.
But listen, man.
We did it.
This has been a damn good 3 hours.
Shit. Well, now I get how this works now. Damn. Okay, man.
This has been a fucking phenomenal conversation, dude. I knew it would be, but you're the shit, dude.
I appreciate you for having me, man. No, you're the shit. And seeing all this, man, you got a good thing going on, man. So keep doing it, man. Thank you for having me. I'm honored to even. I'm yeah, man. We get to hang out, talk about comic books. Hell yeah.
You're welcome back anytime. I want to do this again.
Hell yeah,
for
man.
Real.
Yeah, we'll plan it out. We'll just map it out. Hit me up. We'll get it done.
Where can everyone find you on social media? How can they support you?
So right now I am working on a couple projects that you can see on if you just follow me on Instagram, that's the easiest way to do it, because I'm not gonna start launching a Kickstarter and all that shit once I figure the play out. But it's at Mup Nasty, so MUP Nasty on Instagram. Yeah, that's the easiest way to do it, because
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, again, man, this has been awesome. Thank you for coming, taking the time.
Appreciate you for having me, man. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.